What's up, world? We're back again with America's favorite con man, Matthew B. Cox. On this episode, we talk about Matt's latest documentary about to be released in Europe, where they create the Con Man Olympics, in which Matt actually represents the USA. We're very proud of Matt for that. Matt also gives his take on the current trial getting started with Elizabeth Holmes and her company Theranos, in which she defrauded investors, committed wire fraud and conspiracy to commit fraud. Matt makes his predictions on what the outcome of that trial is going to be. And also towards the end of the conversation, we get into the latest developments of the Gabby Petito murder investigation and the Florida man who's currently on the run. It's crazy out there in Florida right now. We got hurricanes everywhere, murderers on the run. Luckily, we have Matt Cox here to keep us entertained through all of it. So, without further ado, please welcome the man who needs no introduction, especially to the FBI and Secret Service, Matthew B. Cox.
All right, what's going on?
What do you mean? I don't know.
Hey, Matt, we're back. We're back.
Wagwan.
Wagwan, Matt Cox. What's up, Matt? Welcome back to the show, Matt Cox, the FBI's most wanted con man.
Still not wrong. Still not. Still
Top 10. America's most wanted top 10.
I was on the Secret Service. I was number one of the Secret Services.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant. How you been, man? How's life going, bud?
I mean, it's going okay.
What have you been doing lately? What have you been up to? Been working?
I just got back from Amsterdam.
That sounds like a place I want to go.
How'd that go?
You would like Amsterdam. I liked Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I just don't. I just wasn't, able to do any of the things. Partake in the
extracurricular activities.
Yes, exactly.
What did you do? Why were you in? Why did you go to Amsterdam?
There's a series called The Psychology of a Con Artist. They did they're doing a 6-part series.
Scoot the mic a little bit. You don't have your headphones, so you can't tell how good your voice is.
Oh, you want me to put them on?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
You could probably turn his mic up, I hear.
So bro, I go to Amsterdam, right? Mm-hmm. And
are you nervous flying?
with the girlfriend?
You went with the girlfriend?
No. I'm saying I'm dating this chick, and then as soon as I get back, boom, we break up.
Why?
Oh, honestly, I never get an exact answer. The answer that I typically get is so ridiculous.
It's not you.
Yeah, it's the whole. It's not you. It's me. It's it's not going to work. You've heard this before. It's ridiculous.
Is this the same girl you broke up with before? We talked about in the last podcast.
First of all, I've never broken up with her. She breaks up with me.
Right.
She breaks up with me every 3 or 4 months, and it goes 3 days, maybe 4 days, and then she starts texting. This is killing me, and I can't stop thinking about you. And then, and of course I reciprocate, I'm angry, but whatever. And it goes back and forth. And then she comes over, and then she comes back and forth comes over for 3 or 4 weeks. And then it's like, can we start seeing it, just see each other again? I made a mistake. So we get back together. Mm-hmm. We're back together. Everything's fine. 3 months later, boom, same thing. It's never going to work. We're too different. We're totally different people. Well, obviously, we have nothing in common. Well, it doesn't seem to be an issue. We talk all the time. We joke around. We have fun. We don't argue. It's just not going to work. Okay, well, I'm always like, look, if you're banging somebody else, tell me that. Tell me you're nailing somebody else, and I'll be like, okay, yeah, we are done. But it's never that. Tell me.
Why would that be the thing that you need to hear?
Well, I mean, because I think that would be it would be a nice, clean cut. It's okay. This is clearly not working. Mm-hmm. You're nailing some other guy. We're done.
See ya.
But simply saying, we get along. I'm in love with you. I love the sex. I love being around you. I love talking to you. I have fun when I'm with you. But it's never going to work. But
the words don't match the actions.
Mm-hmm. Why? Tell me I'm too. She's 34. Right now I'm 52. She's 34. It was 18. It's always been an 18-year difference, obviously. It's 18-year difference. Tell me I'm too old for you. And she's like, you're not too old for you. She's like, I don't look 34 and you don't look 52. She's like, we basically look like we're the same. We both look like we're in our 40s. And she's like, so it's not that. I'm like, okay, well, tell me give me a reason that makes sense. And she's like, I just can't. I'm like, tell me you're not in love with. Say, look, I'm not in love with you. Like, I'm just not in love with you. Like, how you know what I'm saying? It's like, look, I've tried. I like you. You're cool. I like hanging out with you, but it's just never going to become love for me. Like, tell me that. Like, I get that. I could be like, you're right. I can't make you be in love with me. And she's like, it's not that. I am in love with you. I think about you all the time. I this, I that. It's like, it's just not going to work. Okay, you know what? I mean, so, and that's what it was this time. So it's just done. And only this time I knew it was serious because, and this, I told you this is so stupid. I know it's stupid. And I've heard people say it when I was locked up, like I'd heard people say stuff like this on TV. And I always thought, that's got to be the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
This is how I know it's serious?
This is how I knew that was it. She's serious this time.
Yeah.
She, within a day or two, she changed her relationship status on Facebook. That's it, bro. It's over.
It's real.
It's real. Like, because you got to think, before when we would not see each other for whatever 4 or 5 days or a week, and then we were just kind of sleeping together. She never changed, never once. This time, within a day, boom, done. It's like, wow. Okay,
that's so funny how people in their 50s act the way we used to act, like in high school, about social media. When we were in high school, we probably would worry about a girl changing their social status of being single in a relationship or whatever.
You don't even know what I'm going through. You're married. It's over. Like, you don't even remember what it was like to be pathetic and feel insecure. And
of course I do.
To you,
yes,
you're
I
like,
do.
You're like, you don't need her.
Yes, I do.
I'm always saying, you don't need her. When you've got some chick,
yeah,
you're always the guy's like, fuck her. Yeah, because you're living with someone.
Mm-hmm.
You've got her locked down. It's over. You're all good. It becomes fuck her, but when it's you, it's like, fuck, this is the worst.
But it's so weird. Like, why can't you just be happy, just playing the field, doing your work, and just banging random broads?
Because I'm 52 and it's almost over. Like, my best years are way past me. They're gone.
You're not good in solitaire. You need a cellmate.
Absolutely. I need a cellmate.
Okay.
I need someone who's going to be down with me for the whole thing. That's what I need.
Yep.
And the worst thing is too, like it's. I know, like, part of it, I get it, because, like, she didn't want to move in, and so I knew when we first met and she did want to move in, then she didn't want to move in, and I always knew that was an issue. But as we started talking, I started realizing the major issue is, it's hard to fight with me. Like, I'm very easy to get along with. Mm-hmm. I almost never draw a line in the sand. I never have 100% opinions. This is the way it is. Like, I'm totally okay if we don't agree on the same subjects. I'm pretty easygoing. You want to do this? Okay, well, I wanted to do this, but if this is important to you, then it's important to me, and I want to do it. Like, I'm available almost all the time because I work for myself. So all of these things make me a guy that's difficult to not get along with.
Which probably drives some women crazy.
Right. It makes her nuts because I'm always available. I'm always this. I don't argue. I don't. Yeah. So I guess in her mind, maybe she's just not interested or disinterested, or I don't fight or argue with her. Or
she needs a challenge.
Yeah, maybe she needs. I keep telling her, I say, look, I get it. You want a guy that drives a forklift that will.
She wants Shane.
Come home drunk.
She wants Shane.
Right. You're gonna have to.
I'm checking off a few of those boxes. Keep going.
Couple DUIs.
So far, I'm 3 for 3.
6'3".
Every 3 months, you got to get him out of jail.
He's 6'3".
Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. 6'3". Yeah. So yeah. And I even said that one time. Tell me that I'm too short. Tell me that. Like, this is how comical it is when we're arguing. Every time when we break up, this is how much I go. Tell me that. Like, I'll make joke, and she's like, it's not that. I'm like, tell me that it's, and she's like, anything other than this ridiculously stupid answer.
What do you think it really is? What do you think the real answer is?
I think she's just not in love with me. But I'm easy to get along with. I'm fun to be around. I'm funny. I'm nice. Like, the last time she broke up and got back together with me, here's what she said.
Okay, listen. If you aren't already gambling and betting on sports, you need to be. Because I've been cashing in big for the last 2 months after I signed up with mybookie.ag. I fucking love mybookie.ag. I was using mybookie way before they reached out to sponsor the show. And this month only, our listeners and subscribers are going to get matched on their first deposit up to $500 when they sign up with MyBookie by using the promo code Koncrete. Koncrete. Football season is officially here, and betting. My fucking voice is so fucked up. Football season is officially here, and the betting has begun. It's time for you to win big with mybookie.ag. They have all the crazy pregame prop bets you could ask for, and you can even bet the games live to shift the odds into your favor and always come out on top. They are the leading betting site globally. That's why we use it, and I've been making so much goddamn money, I'm going to start investing in some more real estate. If you want to bet and win big this NFL season, it's got to be with mybookie.ag. Sign up today with the promo code Koncrete, Koncrete, and you're going to get matched up to $500 on your first deposit. So do it now. Back to the show.
After we broke up for a few days, then we start sleeping together again. She's coming over 3-4 days a week now. And then, so after a month or so, this was how we got back together. She said, I would be stupid not to be with you. You're a great guy. So I would be stupid for us not to be together. I don't know what I was thinking. It's just stupid for me not to be with you. Well, that's not because you're a kind of a catch. And you're easy to get along with, and you're a nice guy, and you're funny. Yeah. It would be stupid for me not to be with you. Well, you should really just want to be with me because you're in love. Right. So what happens is 3 months later, I just think she's just not in love. You know?
That's probably the case.
It probably is the case, right? And she just doesn't want to say it because she doesn't want to hurt my feelings. Yeah, and I've even said that, like, look, you're not going to hurt my feelings, okay? It's impossible for you to hurt my feelings.
Well, why can't you just take this input and just do the math? 1 + 1 is 2. Why can't you just walk away from it? Why can't you put it to bed?
Because I love her. You know, those pathetic guys, those pathetic women that he's beating you every night. And
exactly.
But I love him. Yeah, that's how I feel when I say that. But because I did it, because I love being around her and seeing her and being around her, and but whatever. I mean, it's fine. It's over. So I'll figure it out. I'll work it out.
She'll be back in 3 weeks.
It's one of the worst things that human beings have to deal with. Is the same thing that you're going through. Is just relationship problems, and so many people suffer because of that. And I always wonder if, like, down the road, through whether it's some sort of technological enhancement, like the Elon Musk's Neuralink, where we'll have the ability to flip a switch and just turn off an emotion.
What was that movie? Was it Reliquy for a Dream or something? I forget where.
Requiem for a Dream.
Was that Requiem for a Dream?
Yep.
What was it? So it was where they removed the memory of the girl. I don't know if it's the same movie.
I forget what they did in
I haven't
that
seen
movie.
it in so long.
It was Jim Carrey, and he was in love with this chick, and he goes to some guy who can remove the memory of a person.
Really?
Right. So.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what we need.
Right. And so Jim Carrey's kind of going a little crazy because he feels like something's missing, but he doesn't know what it is. And the guy they actually mail out these cards to all your friends and family and explain, this is what's happened. This is the procedure. Do not mention this person to him.
Oh, wow.
And then somebody at some point, I think, shows him the card. And then, he goes back to the doctor and he tries to say, I want to know what's happening. Who is she? Where is she? What's going on? What did you do? It's a whole thing.
I need to watch this again.
I need that doctor.
Yeah, you do need that
That's
doctor.
what I need.
Yeah, but I mean, what if you could do? I mean, sometime in the future, there's got to be a way to where you can do it without really. You don't not really like deleting.
It's Jared Leto.
Oh, it is
Not
Jared.
Jim Carrey.
It's Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jared Leto.
No. This was no. Okay, then it's the wrong movie. This was Jim Carrey. This guy was.
Are you sure?
I'm sure it was Jim Carrey, and they removed it. Well, it was obviously I got the name of the movie wrong.
Well, it's hard to get the name of that movie wrong. That's a very, very.
It sounds like the
famous
story
movie.
you're talking about, maybe.
Really? What is it?
Requiem for a Dream. Anyways, can you pull it up on there? But there's got to be a way.
Maybe it's a different movie.
There's going to be a way for
Definitely
not to delete the memory, just to delete the emotion, because just make it
Then you're basically a robot. I mean, that's what a robot is. It just got no emotions.
right. But if it's an emotion that's going to benefit you to turn off, and you're suffering and you're depressed because of it,
what emotion is that? Love?
instead of
turn love off?
instead of drinking alcohol and popping pills, and smoking, trying to bury the emotions,
Not
you
doing
just flip
any
a
of that.
switch, and you can just get rid of the negative feelings and maybe reverse it into a positive feeling or something.
Ooh.
do that with mushrooms.
I got it. It's called it's Eternal Sunshine.
Eternal Sunshine.
Eternal Sunshine. Oh wait, of the Spotless Mind. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. That's it right there.
Can you text me that?
Sure. It's amazing. I don't want to say it's an
that's Jim
amazing. It's an
Carrey.
interesting movie.
Kate Winslet.
Kate Winslow?
Yeah, and so like he's programmed to forget
There's
her.
a couple good ones in there.
David Cross?
Good
We'll have to
stuff.
check that out.
Good
Okay.
stuff. So
Anyways.
yeah. So I go to Amsterdam.
Yeah, why'd you go to Amsterdam?
Okay, I went to Amsterdam because there's a documentary company. They contacted me like whatever. They contacted me like a year ago, and then there was the COVID thing. It was like in the middle of the COVID thing, and they were trying to work out how do we get you over here. I literally, so they're doing a 6-part series on the psychology of a con artist. They are doing like one on a guy from like Germany, one from a guy from France. One guy's from the UK, one guy's from whatever, and then I'm the guy they chose from like the United States.
So
Right.
you're representing the United States
representing Danny.
as
You're-
the
you hear me?
United States best con man.
In the Con Man Olympics, you're representing the United States.
I mean, you would think they get Belfort or something, but yeah, I ended. What they said was that I was extremely forthcoming and willing to talk.
No,
and-
he's immediately disqualified because he's a New Yorker.
Why?
I don't know.
You don't like New Yorkers?
No, because he's a fucking New Yorker. He's Italian New York guy. He's first of all he's Italian, so he's automatically a pervert.
Wow. And the subscribers
hitting
just
hard,
dropped.
hitting hard.
Like Cuomo.
He's not perverted. He's just Italian.
He's not horny. He's just Italian.
So
He just got that. I don't know. He's just a salesman, really.
he is a salesman, but I think being a salesman is kind of a little con man.
Yeah, you got to be a little conny
Yeah.
to be a salesman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between a guy like him and a guy like you. There's a very, very obvious difference talking to a guy like him and then talking to a guy like you. He's just one of those, like, he just reminds me of every high energy sales hustler guy. He's a hustler, really.
Right.
He's not
Almost like a pyramid scheme.
You're
type
more of
deal.
like a
It's a pump and dump scheme.
Yeah, he's a
what he
pump and
was.
dumper.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're
But-
you're more of like a
hitting the
like
vault.
You're thought out. You're everything you did was well planned out, well thought out. You know, you
He was
went
bringing
to
companies public. I mean,
it was thought out.
It was thought out. Like he was.
No, but not to the level that you were doing it. You were literally
It's a little more one-on-one, maybe.
He was $102 million. Like, I mean, I wasn't at that scale, but I hear what you're saying. But
you were creating and manufacturing identifications. You were buying
okay.
social
Yeah, yeah,
security
yeah.
numbers from
Little more
homeless.
hands.
he was
on.
really kind of working in a gray area that was it was all seemingly legit, and he was really just cooking the books. So I
right.
get it. He wasn't like a running like scams and and it was still a scam. It just was more of a cooking the books type of deal, and he was doing it all in his name, and he was I totally get. Okay, I definitely see it was definitely mine was 100% in the gray or in the red and the black or whatever. you wanna call it.
Yours was from start to finish fraud.
Like it was out to it was a total scam from the
Right.
get-go.
Right.
Okay, I get that. So anyway, so they wanted to talk to me. So they flew me out there. First of all, I had to get my judge to sign I had to apply in front of the judge to have permission to apply for my passport and leave the country. Not an easy task. I owe $6 million. 2 of my charges are passport fraud. One is
How the
so
fuck did you pass
you,
this test?
you go in and say like I know how this sounds, but I need a passport. And look, my argument to my attorney that put in the motion to the judge, I was like, listen, I think honestly, I said I feel like I don't need permission to get a passport. Like I can get a passport. And she was like, Matt,
Don't go there.
that's not an argument.
Yeah.
I'm not even please don't joke about that. And I'm like, all right. I'm just saying. So I think that's part of the argument. It's like, look, Your Honor, I'm trying to do the right thing here.
Showing up in good faith.
Right. Like, don't make me go the other way. No, I'm just
Yeah,
joking.
yeah.
So anyway, she went in front of him. She said, look, this is how he makes his, his living. This is a thing, blah, blah, blah. And they said, okay. And he said, okay, fine. So my 2 charges, one was applying for a passport, like fraudulently applying for a passport. And the other one was use of a fraudulent passport. So first you applied for several of them. And then when you got them, you used them. Like, you didn't just get the thing, keep it. You went out of the country back and forth several times. So he said, okay, I'll let him get the passport, and yes, he can leave. So I got the passport. Do you know that when I used to apply for passports, you could get one in about 15 or 20 days if you paid the extra, like the expedited?
No, I got one a couple years ago in like less than a week.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Now it's like 8 weeks behind.
Yeah.
It took like between 6 and 8 weeks for me to get mine.
Damn.
So I get it. I go to Amsterdam. I get there. They put me up in a great hotel. I was there 8 days. Put me up in a great hotel. Walked around the city. You know, I had a couple days here and there to myself. A few hours here, a few hours there. Like, that would have been awesome to be there with a chick.
You
But
run into
instead,
any
it's
fans?
just me. Did I tell you that?
What?
Did I tell you that about the guy?
No.
Get the fuck out of here. You're going to love this.
What?
Okay, so I go into, with my mask on, by the way, when I get to the airport, Tampa International Airport, I'm there standing in line, and somebody came, one of the Delta people come up to me. They say something to me and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah. I said, well, which line do I need to be in? Is this international, right? Like, and they were like, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. And these two guys turn around. They're from Slovakia, by the way.
This is in what airport?
Tampa International.
Oh, okay.
So they turn around, and the guys, they look at me, and the one guy goes, you were on a podcast or something, right? And I went, yeah, how'd you know that? And he goes, well, I recognize you. And I went, I got a mask on. And he goes, no, I recognize your voice.
Oh,
And he said, yeah, you were on that, shoot. He goes, what's that fucking jerk-off's name? And I go, Danny. I go, Koncrete. I knew immediately.
Yeah.
And I go, Danny. And then the other guy goes, he goes, yeah, Koncrete. He goes, with a K. They spell it. I goes, yeah. And so his buddy, and I go, what do you got? Look. That's what he said.
I believe
I could
it.
lie. I'm
Did
not
he
going
really say jerk off?
I believe it.
Yeah, they had a few choices. Yeah, he's always interrupting. He's this, he's that. I go, but you
Jesus
keep
Christ.
watching.
Same guys in the comments.
I looked at him. I said, you still watch it though, don't you? He goes, well, he's got good guests, and he's not bad. I mean, so anyway, he said that, and then he was like, hey, what do you think about this whole COVID thing? Do you know about this? And I went,
Here we go.
what do you mean? And he goes, this whole COVID thing. And I went, he goes, this is the biggest scam of them all. And I was like, what? And so he starts telling me about how he thinks that this whole thing, it's all, and there are the conspiracy guys, and I get it, and there is some of that. I get
First
that.
of all, thank you, Matt, for getting this podcast demonetized by YouTube.
I just realized
Keep
that
going.
too. I just realized that too when I said it.
It's all right.
Yeah, you have to clip that.
It's all right. We'll leave it in. Fuck it.
So anyway, he goes on and on about this whole thing, right? No, I mean, he's right. Like, he's right. I don't doubt for a second that they'll do it.
They'll flag it.
Yeah. So he goes on and on about it. And he's like, and I was like, look, take down my email, send me the stuff, the information, whatever, and, blah, blah, blah. And we talked, and, seemed like a nice guy. He's from Slovakia, I think. Both of them were. He was going back there. He was like giving up his U.S. citizenship. Like, he had a whole
He's out of here.
super upset with the United States.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He was all, I
He's
was
had
like,
enough.
Was
Yeah.
he wearing a Make America Great Again hat?
no, but he was upset. Like, to me, I'm not going to Slovakia. I'm not giving up my U.S. citizenship, no matter how upset I am. So
Yeah, he's upset.
he's upset. He had a whole thing, and he wanted to talk
So
to
what
me.
was he saying? Why did he say it was a scam?
I mean, it was all. I didn't really get into it because we're in line and we're moving forward, and I'm trying to get on the plane.
You're not trying to get deep into conversation with this guy.
Right. And look, people believe what they're going to believe. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I who am I to say, like, 10 years from now, for all you knows what's going to happen.
Right.
So, but the point is he was super upset about it. So anyway, that's one guy, or those are two guys, but he was the first one. Then I get to Amsterdam, and I forget the plug. I can't, the plug that goes in the wall.
Yeah.
So I had a whole issue with my plug thing. So I go to one place, then I go to another place. I end up in a supermarket because I also forgot deodorant. So I'm walking around buying this stuff that I forgot. I go in to get deodorant, and this guy walks by me in the supermarket. He walks by me, looks at me. I look at him, keep walking. I get my deodorant, I come back. And as I walk by, he goes, hey, man. And I said, yeah, what's up? And he goes, I love your podcast, bro. And I go, get the fuck out of here. Like, are you serious? And he goes, yeah, man, I've watched a bunch of them. I watched you on Koncrete with that jerk Danny. No, he didn't say
Jerk
that.
off.
No, he said, yeah, I watched you on the other one, the Koncrete with the two guys. And I said, yeah. And I said, Danny and Hat Rack. And he goes, yeah. And he said, Patrick, he was Bet David. I watched that one. Like, he started naming off. I was like, wow. He's like, I've watched a bunch of your stuff.
Nice.
And I said, I've got a channel.
Hell
Did you
yeah.
subscribe? And he goes, I didn't subscribe. I'm sorry. I maybe did it right then. I was like, all right. I said,
That's right.
You did the right thing.
Yeah.
So that was, I mean, in Amsterdam, that's pretty cool.
That is
like,
cool.
that was cool, bro.
That's badass, bro.
Yeah, that was awesome.
How did that make you feel?
I felt great. I was
Yeah.
like, this may be something. This may be something.
You're onto something.
Yeah.
You're on a tear, Matthew
Yeah.
Cox.
You know why? All because my buddy Treon said, you ought to get in touch with this guy, Danny.
Yeah.
Really? Because
so crazy, huh?
my only option was try and get some articles made, put up a website. Like, I don't really know what to do. I want to do a true crime podcast. I don't know how to do it. Like, I don't know. I was already kind of watching videos, and I didn't quite know, and it just happened to be he was wrong. Like, the reason he wanted me to contact you was like, for real estate. And I was like,
Oh, yeah.
he's not
Because of
gonna-
life for sale.
doesn't want to
Oh,
talk
yeah.
to me about real estate.
Yeah.
He's like, well, with the other thing, like you got a story. You could. He interviews people. And I was like, nobody interested in my stuff. I don't know what you're talking about. I'll send him an email. Anyway, so yeah, that was pretty cool. So anyway, I go to the store or go to the shop. It turns out that I thought they kept pitching this thing as a documentary, right, on con men. So it's a documentary.
Yeah.
Documentaries are typically low budget.
Right.
So
Relatively.
Right. I mean, there are other ones, right? There are the ones with reenactments. But when I think of documentaries with reenactments, I typically think about like I Almost Got Away with It, or which is one of the best ones is Locked Up Abroad. Like, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a really good one recently where they had really fucking good reenactments. What was
Was
that?
it Netflix or
It
something?
was Netflix. Something
they're
on-
doing great ones. Like, they're really doing good reenactments.
This one was like crazy with like cartoons and animations and fuck, I can't remember what it was right now.
Well, so anyway, so I get there, and they had said, oh, there's going to be B-roll and some reenactments. Like, I felt like, okay, this is kind of low budget. Listen, so I get there. Man, this place, I was way wrong, bro. Like, this is like top notch. Like, did I send you the pictures?
You did.
Oh, man, bro, they've got
Fucking crazy.
bro, you know those red cameras, the camera. Like, how much are those things?
They vary. Like the cheapest ones are 15,000. They go up to they're in the hundreds of thousands.
Like, they've got like every other camera I'm looking at is red. I mean, they've got it's huge. They've rebuilt all of these sets for the main set that they have. Like, they have this huge set that they're using, which is like a museum, and it's super ultra modern. They've rebuilt all of these rooms in the museum inside of their, not studio, but what do you call it? Like the back
Soundstage?
lot. It's I don't know, whatever. It's like a huge building, and they've got these
Right.
rooms inside. They got all these sets, and
Yeah,
it's like
it's soundstage.
right away I start realizing,
It's a real deal.
this is way big. And then I'm like, hey, are you doing reenactments? They're like, yeah. I'm like, who did you get to play me? They pull up the pictures of the guy, and I'm like,
Really?
that's really not bad.
Do you have a picture of him?
No, I don't.
Oh yeah, I would
should've.
love to see the
I
guy
should
that
have.
got you to play.
Yeah.
Played
Could you imagine them scouting the guy, scouting the actors, getting them to
yeah.
getting them to do auditions to be Matt Cox?
man.
They were like, he's your height, he's your size. They said he's about your body, your.
Good hairline.
Yeah, I was like,
Whole
Great
nine.
hairline.
I was like, nice.
Wow.
It was good stuff. So anyway, I go there, I do that. So that we spent like 4 or 5 days shooting. I was interviewed by all these different psychiatrists, took all these tests. Then I fly back, went to Atlanta. There was a bomb scare in Atlanta. So it was like 4 hours in Atlanta. I finally get on my plane. Oh, no. What? That's what I was going to tell you. That's what we were laughing about. When I get to the United States. So when I went into Amsterdam, by the way, I walk up to passport control. I show him my passport. Guy looks at the passport and he goes, okay. He said, where are you staying? And I went, oh, man, I don't know. Hold on. I start looking through my paperwork. And he goes, where are you here? Business or pleasure? I go, oh, business. He goes, what's the name of the company? And I went, God, it's like Tops. I don't know. It's like, I don't know, it's German or something. I don't know. I'm looking. He's sitting there. He goes,
Whatever. Move on.
yeah, he goes, yeah, man, you're okay. Just go. It's fine. I walk right in. I'm like,
That was easy.
done. I get to the United States after standing in line for whatever, 30, 40
When
minutes.
you're coming home?
Coming in to the United States,
Yeah.
coming home. I get in there, walk through passport or, in the line. The 6 or 7 people in front of me, like, they walk up, they flash their passport. Boom. The guy goes, he scans it. He goes, okay, thank you. Next one. Next one. Thank you. Thank you. I get there. Yeah. Beep, 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 beep. Puts the passport way over here, like I was going to snap it. It's like I'm going to snap it out of his hand and run. Where am I going? And I was like, huh. And then he starts kind of, looking through he's got the computers, but he's going down on the screen, right? He's like not scanning, but whatever. He's click, click. Click, 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 click.
Oh, fuck.
Click, 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 click. He's going on and going. I mean, it's a lot. He's sitting there and he looks at me and I go, finally, now I'm thinking, this is not good.
Fuck.
It was, and I said, how bad is it? And he goes, well, it is what it is. And I was like, I mean, am I going to make my flight? And he goes, well, you're definitely going to have to talk to somebody. I can tell you that. And as I was like, I mean, I'm cutting it close on my flight. I ended up missing it anyway because of the bomb scare. But I'm sitting there. All of a sudden, a guy comes walking down. I see him walking. The guy takes my passport, the guy I'm talking to, puts it in this thick, clear plastic bag with a zipper, zips it up, and hands it to this guy, who walks right up, grabs it, and he goes, you're going to have to follow me, Mr. Cox. And I was like, how does he know my name? And I'm like, oh, okay. So I follow him. I have to sit down for about 5 minutes while these guys are talking. And then finally they call me up and I walk up. I walk up and the guy's like, so what's this about? And I went, I don't know. I said, I'm not sure. He said, you know what it's about. And I went, well, I mean, I assuming I'm a felon. He's looking, he goes, it's more than that. And I looked at her and I thought, okay, it was funny before, because I know I'm good. And he goes, do you have anything? And I went, now I'm thinking, do they think I have drugs? And I went, have anything? He goes, yeah, I mean, you're on federal probation. He said, how did you leave the United States? And I go, well, I have permission. I wouldn't leave without permission. And he goes, oh, you'd be surprised how many people do. And he goes, do you have anything? I said, yeah. I said, I have a travel permit from my probation officer. And I said, I have a motion from my judge that says I'm allowed to leave the United States. And he looks at him.
All manufactured on Photoshop.
Yeah, right.
Oh, he sat there and he said, what did you do? It's like a Ponzi scheme or something. I went, no, it's real estate. It was just real estate. He's like, well, what is it? Because he said, he said, there's I forget, it wasn't a red notice. He didn't say a red notice. He said something else with Interpol. He said, there's an Interpol such and such on. He said,
like a watch list or
right.
something, right?
And I said, still? And he went, I mean, no, but there was. He said, he said, well, what did you do? I said, well, I was on the run for 3 years. He goes, oh, okay. And I said, I have multiple passports. And I go, but that one's good. And he goes, okay. And so we had this 15-minute conversation. And I'm like, bro, I mean, honestly, I said, am I going to be able to make my flight? He goes, yeah. Let's just wrap this up. Okay. So he scanned this and
tell him to subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe to the podcast. Hey, can you do me a favor real quick before I go?
So I leave. Then there was the bomb scare thing, and that was 3 hours later. But yeah, that was funny.
Wow.
It was funny. I really thought, I really felt like I was going to sail right through.
Yeah. Are you sweating? Are you nervous at that time?
I wasn't nervous until he started doing. Once I thought, okay, well, maybe it's. I didn't even really think federal probation. I just thought felon. I knew there had been what's called a red notice on me at one time, and all that means is arrest him immediately. Yeah. And hold this person. Don't detain him. Hold him.
Yeah.
And don't notify, because they have other notices. Look, let him in, but notify us. But it wasn't that. For me, it was no, you hold him. So I thought it might be that. But then he said federal probation, and then he was like, do you have, when my probation officer, she's given me travel permits before, and nobody's ever asked me for it. So when he asked for it, I was like, oh, gee. Thank God I printed that thing out.
Yeah.
Nice. Got it. And thank God I brought the motion too.
Cha-ching.
Is this the first time you left the country since you were released from prison?
Well, I went to Puerto Rico.
Well, but you don't need a passport for Puerto Rico.
Right. But they never asked me for anything. I walked in and out. No big deal. Right.
I wonder what they see on the computer when your
I
name
know.
comes
Oh,
up.
love
I'd love
to
to
see
see like
that.
what, because he doesn't know exactly what you did.
He didn't.
but he sees something,
He
he saw something big.
he only
Just
knew,
a flashing red light. Warning, warning.
He only seemed like he knew it was financial or bank fraud
Yeah,
or
I
something.
wonder if they see like a dollar number or something,
or just charges, maybe the
Yeah.
charges. Like I don't know. And by that point, I am concerned. Like at that point, he's like, he's not kind of laughing it off like
Yeah.
I was. I was laughing it off because I know I'm good.
Right.
Then he starts like, it made me feel like I was doing something wrong. Like I started feeling, even though I know I'm not. Like I started feeling like I'm doing something
Yeah.
wrong. So
That must be the best part of those guys' jobs.
making people sweat.
No, just like meeting people like you, like seeing those like interesting people come through, with the crazy backgrounds or something crazy on Interpol on the watch list or whatever. That must
Yeah.
be like they come home from
They
work.
gotta Google you after that or something.
Yeah, they come home from
Like,
work.
who
and
is
like,
this guy?
Did anything new happen at work today, honey? You'll never believe the guy I met today came through customs.
Matthew Cox.
It's funny because whenever I meet somebody, like typically I just talk to people, like I'm just talking like you would talk to, right? And every once in a while, something comes up, and I realize like when I get that shock look on their face, or I realize, oh, that's right, that's not normal. Like, right, that's not, because for me it feels normal.
Yeah.
And then suddenly they're like, well, what? Well, what do you mean? I'm like, oh man, that's right. No, see, okay, here. And then I'm like, I explain kind of real quick. Blah, blah, blah. I try and slim it down as quickly as possible.
yeah.
And then they're like, and then it's, instead of them being like, oh wow, that's
Now
interesting.
they're
Now they're like, bro, like, how did you that? And then I realize,
Here we go.
oh yeah, okay, like this guy work. I forgot. This guy works. He works in
Yeah,
works
he's
in
a
the
mailman.
He works in the warehouse at Walmart.
So, do the company that is shooting this documentary, producing this documentary, is it it's a 6-part series?
Yes.
Do you know where it's going to be published? Do they already have it sold, or?
Yeah, they said it's like, I want to say, I could be wrong, it was like 4 different networks throughout Europe. Apparently they're like blocked off, like these 2 countries are part of this network. And then the network, is it Prime Plus here in the United States, or Prime? And I guess you get so many channels with Prime, and one of them's like Discovery 2, which is like all documentaries.
Amazon Prime?
Oh, I'm sorry, Amazon. What did I just say?
Prime Plus?
Prime Plus, but it's
Amazon.
just Prime.
Amazon. I'm sorry, it's
Right.
Amazon. So it's
Okay.
on. Is it Amazon Prime?
Yeah.
Prime, yeah.
So Amazon Prime, and you get so many channels with that, and so you end up having like Discovery 2, which is like all documentaries, and it's going to be a part of that document.
cool.
Those series, and I think it comes out in December.
Oh wow, that's quick.
Right, but I don't think mine's done. I think they've edited like 3 of them, and they're
Oh,
still
okay.
editing.
Right.
So,
Nice.
I don't know how.
We should have a watch party here. We could watch.
Listen,
it on
that's
TV.
awesome.
So the 2 male doctors were pretty cool, right? The female doctor, the psychiatrist, like she didn't like me.
Why?
She immediately I got this whole Nancy Grace feel, where she
Hate Nancy
hated me
Grace.
before as I walked in the room, like,
Yeah.
and she just had this. I could just tell this disdain for me, and as we talked, and I realized, and I'm trying to be nice and funny and joke around and be be charismatic or whatever, charming, and I'm trying to work on it.
You're superficially
Absolute-
superficially charming.
Yes, it's not working on her.
No.
She's not having it. And then at one point,
Hey, can you hit the AC over there?
yeah, it's dying. I'm dying in here.
You know how to do it? You never done it.
What happens is, at one point she starts in with, as she's asking questions, she suddenly says, "So you involved quite a few, single mothers in your crime." And I went,
No.
She said that.
"Yeah," and I went,
She's a single mom.
"No, she's not."
No.
But she just, like, everything she was asking was normal
Yeah. And
and then suddenly, boom. So anyway, she says something about mothers or women or single, and I went, well, "What?" And she goes, "Well, I understand you involved several females in your crime." And I went, "Well, no." I said, there were people involved in my crime. I said, a few of them happened to be single mothers, but I said, but I didn't involve them, like,
like pick them out.
yeah. And I was like, she's like, "Well, you were dating them, right?" I was like, "Well, I dated a few women, but most women in their 30s." I go, in the U.S., you're 30 years old and you're single, you probably have a kid. And she goes, not all of them have a kid. I said, yeah, I understand not all of them have a kid. But
Right, what do
80 or 90% of them have kids. and she said, well, that seems like a high statistic. I forget what, I was just like.
Where are we going?
She's kind of argumentative.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, so. I said, listen, let me explain something. I said, she's like, why would they want to be involved in your crime? I said, because I was making money and I was dating them. I go, and I'm not running a charity here. I'm not just giving you money. And they start saying, hey, can I do something? Can I get involved? And so if I happen to say, well, I mean, you could do this or you could do this, and we would share in the profit, or you'd make 50,000 or 100,000 or whatever, but you got to do this and this and this. Because otherwise, I said, I don't need them.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm not going and saying, hey, I'm dating you. Here's 50 grand. If you're saying I want to make some money, and I say, okay, well, here's what I'm doing. You can do this. And they say, absolutely, I want to do that. Then that's great. I said, now you're making it seem like I targeted them. I said, which I absolutely did not. And she's like, well, that's what, what she basically starts making it sound like that's what it is or something. I was like, that's not what it, like, I don't know where you're getting this. Like, I mean, these women came up with this whole scheme to get a lesser sentence. And I explained how that whole thing kind of took off. And I said, but you know what? I said, listen, just to wrap this up real quick. I go, if that's what, I said that, if you want to wrap this line of questioning up real quick, I said, absolutely. I targeted single mothers. I forced them to help me with their crimes. I sent them all to prison. I said, I left them with nothing. I said, is that what you want? Because I said, if that's what you want, that's what you want. I'm good. So it was something along those lines where I just snapped, and she was like, well, I'm just, and then we went on. It was just like I'm, and this is and I think I even said this. I said, you know what the worst thing about this whole line of questioning is? I said,
really? You really went that far to say that to her?
Well, because
she was a cynic.
Well, here's the issue is, look, you're accusing me of taking part in the Kennedy assassination. And then if I say, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't help kill John F. Kennedy. What are you talking about? That's ridiculous. Like, you know what they say, oh, you're unwilling to take responsibility? Yes. Just like I'm unwilling to take responsibility for the bombing of Pearl Harbor, or the invasion of Iraq, or whatever, all these other things that I had nothing to do with. Like, so it's hard to say that's not true without, then they just spin it. And you look like, oh, you're denying it. I said, look, I'm willing to own up to everything I've ever done. I said, and if I did that, I said, I'd be laughing about it with you. I'd say, yep, that's what I did. Ha, fuck them. I said, but I didn't. I said, so I'm not willing to live under that yoke. And that was it. And she went, well, and then she kept going. That chick hated my guts. Like, I know she just disliked me. And, I tried to be nice to her, and everything was, she just seemed like she had a little dig every chance.
Was that the interview where you sent me the photo where you're like in that big room with the cool lighting,
Yes.
where it looks like it's a psychiatrist's office or something?
Yes.
Very modern.
It's on the sound studio.
Blonde lady, right?
No, redhead.
Oh, she was redhead.
Redhead.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that now.
Yeah. She was
really
pretty.
sold me on that part of it.
She was super pretty. Like she was like the worst kind of woman. She was like pretty and smart.
Oh yeah.
Horrible. What a horrible combination. Like, I mean, like
You can never win with that
you
one,
can't.
bro.
You can't. You have to feel horrible
Yeah.
for like
Oh, it's fucked.
any guy that dates her, because she's also a psychiatrist. So no matter what you do,
you're
she
fucked.
can spin it and twist it and tweak it. And this is like, I can't win an argument with you.
Yeah.
Like, the worst thing is to be dating a chick.
Or the worst thing is to be a dumb guy dating a smart, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or maybe it could be the best thing,
Or a
maybe.
smart guy, and she's smarter than you,
Right.
which is even worse,
That's
because you can't
worse.
even fall back on being
'Cause
stupid.
Just like you,
Yeah,
you guys
that's
were
worse.
clashing, right?
Horrible, bro. She's as bad as the psychiatrist at
Your appointed psychiatrist.
yeah, no, the one at the one in Coleman. Like, she'd seen 1,000 Matt Cox, and she was cocky, and so it's like, there's nothing I could do. This woman, I walked into her office, and I'm already just like the whole room's closing in on me. It was like she knew everything about me. She'd already taken me and categorized me and said, okay, bop, 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 bop,
Yeah.
boom. You sit down. And she's like, so one of your parents was an alcoholic. Like, what are you talking about? How would you know that? So your mother, was she? And you're like, how do you know these things.
Oh my
Like
god.
super smart. Like anything you say, she just twist it this way, twist it this way. Of course, she was divorced.
Yeah.
Because that dude finally just said, "I give up."
I wonder if the lady in Amsterdam who's interviewing you, if she was divorced or what? I wonder what.
I don't know. She
was
was
she a
single.
was she a single
She was
mother?
single. She wasn't a single mother because I even mentioned she.
Oh, you already said that, yeah.
Yeah, but not just that. I had said something to her when we were talking about dating. She's like, "Well, you don't have to date single mothers." I said, "The bulk of them are single mothers." And I'm not trying to what am I saying?
Easy for you to say.
I'm not trying to
Discriminate.
Thank you. I'm telling you, I'm losing it. So, I said, I mean, what do I care? I like kids. If they have a kid, fine. So as we're talking, I said, let's face it. I said, she goes, well, you could date, what? She started going on and on. I said, well, let's face it. I said, someone like you's not going to date me. She goes, oh no, I wouldn't date you. And I was thinking, well, like I walked into that. Like that wasn't. You didn't have to say that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I was just like,
God damn.
Jesus.
Should have hit you while you were down.
Was that filmed for the show or
Yeah, the whole thing. You
So
said they
that was
had me
filmed.
doing all these tests. Like I'm
on
answering.
camera?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was all messed up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy the amount of work and the time and the planning and the production that goes into those shows, man.
Yeah, this thing was nice. This was a good show. Like, and they had a budget. Like, everything was top notch. It's not like you can say, they were chintzy here or they scrimped here. No.
Did you hear about the new CBS show they just announced called The Activist?
No.
What is
The
this?
hell is that?
It's a CBS is they have, I guess they've already produced it, but it's a new show that they're getting ready to release called The Activist, and it's a game show. It's a competition show for activists. So for activists for social justice or
Oh my God.
or climate change, and they compete.
It's a game show?
Not a game show. It's like a competition show, kind of like
American Ninja
So
Warrior?
they follow you around for 3 weeks
Yeah,
and see who does the
right.
will do the most
like
outrageous
you
stuff.
know, like the cooking shows where they compete, or like
but how do you
Survivor.
How do you compete with that live?
I don't know. We'd have to watch the trailer, but I could. I was. If you think about how long it takes those shows to develop, and they're just now announcing it, they must have come up with the idea during the whole George Floyd era riots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They had some fucking executive meeting.
Some guy
At
saw some
CBS.
dollar signs.
Let's jump
You know
on this.
what- you know
How
what?
can we make money on this?
You want to hear a crazy show?
Yeah.
Activism, but people are going to get bored, so we make it a competition show about activism.
Yeah.
That
It's,
sounds
Oh my
interesting.
God. I was just listening to Tim Dillon. He just released a new podcast and he talks about it for an extensive amount of time, and he goes off on it. He has the funniest takes on this shit. Oh my God. It's I can't even imagine what it's going to be like, but it seems like it's going to be pretty good.
you know what the funny thing is like every time I'll hear about some show like that, I'm like, that's never gonna last. And then it runs 8 years or something.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you remember ER?
Yeah.
Like I remember ER was coming out, and I was like, that show's not going to do well. Like nobody wants to. Like we're talking about emergency room, like people getting hurt. Like that's too much stress. Nobody wants to watch that. It went like 10 years or something. It was outrageous. It was like the tops. It's like I can't pick a show.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here thinking that sounds stupid to me. It'll probably be on for the next 12 years.
Yeah, I don't even watch any shows really, except for the only really like cable network shows I watch. Just sports. You know what I mean, like football or basketball.
Yeah, but those aren't really shows.
I don't. Yeah,
That's
I
the
don't. I don't watch. Any
the only
sports
content.
ever.
Only content I watch on cable or network is sports. But other than that, it's just Netflix or like Amazon documentaries and shit.
I watch a ton of documentaries, or I'll watch maybe. I don't know. I do watch a lot of like definitely watch a lot of World War II stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Why World War II stuff?
I like
I don't
watching
know.
that stuff sometimes. The new ones when they put them in color,
That whole series.
those are sick.
I've watched that whole series like 3
yeah.
times.
Which
those
one?
are really cool.
It's
they take
World
all
War II in color.
in color.
Really?
So they take all the old black and white footage and put it in color.
Oh,
and it's pretty
shit.
gnarly to
Yeah.
see. It's
Is
pretty
that
cool.
new?
Well, it's been on for a while.
I mean, it's the same story.
I just started watching this new 9/11 documentary they just released on 9/11 a
Oh, I
couple weeks
didn't.
ago.
I've seen it. I haven't watched it yet. There's
Man,
even
it's
one
good.
on what's the artist? Come on, with the afro. You know, the
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross.
I just watched that.
Did you? Somebody told me it was
Did
good.
You it was
No.
good. It was pretty good.
Really?
Yeah,
I
you should
haven't
watch
seen-
it.
I
It's
should
almost
watch
a
it.
little like what's the Tiger guy?
Tiger King.
Tiger King.
Joe
It
Exotic?
has a little Joe Exotic spin to it because like these people he gets involved with, they try to take all his copyrighted name and his work and shit, and he leaves it to his son, and his hair's just a perm, and it's but it's actually it's a pretty good show. You should watch it. Plus, he's a painter. You would really like it.
Wasn't he in like North Florida?
Yeah, he was in Florida somewhere.
Yeah, I think he was in like around Jacksonville area.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, it was Florida somewhere.
I don't know.
That's wild.
There's like these other painters. They paint flowers. He paints landscapes. They're like the competition, and they, you know what I mean?
So
and
funny.
Fucking the guy who's selling the books and TV shows fucking screws the other guys over, and
Tom's doing daffodils now?
Yeah.
Damn it. I'm going to start doing boats. What?
Bob was pretty cool though, man. He's a super humble, like just super chill guy, all happiness, and it was pretty cool. He's a weird guy, but cool guy. He reminds me like almost who's the infomercial guy? Billy Mays.
He reminds you of Billy Mays?
Billy Mays was
Billy
super,
Mays
like,
was not laid back at all.
No.
Yeah, but he was like super nice and happy, friendly marketing show, because there was this other painter in Europe or something who had the show before Bob, and he was like crazy. He was like German and Russian, so he's always shouting and painting and shit. And Bob's like, I'm gonna do a show and be the opposite of this guy. I'm gonna be the nice guy.
Right.
Fucking all the women want to watch his shows, and
Could you imagine some just methed out Nazi doing art?
that's what this guy was like, bro.
We're going to do a tree.
Yeah.
Oh, let's scrape here. We're going to take a little green.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Ross. When did he first come on the scene? I don't know. I mean, that was way before my time.
Got to be in the 70s, right?
Yeah. 70s, right?
It was back there.
So like the whole hippies movement, the whole hippie movement.
It was shit. Maybe just after, like
Yeah.
this, or roughly during the same time, but he didn't
Yeah.
seem that hippie-ish to me.
No, he wasn't very like hippie-ish.
No?
Not hippie, no, but he was very like.
Did he have his own like
down to
TV
earth
network? His own like TV
Network.
show?
No, he had his own show.
His own show, right?
his
Not-
own show
not like-
that they put on TV?
Obviously
yeah.
not network. I didn't mean to say network.
Did he have his own YouTube channel?
Not quite.
Yeah, Bob was. That's a good one. You should watch it. What's another?
Are you
good
still
one?
doing art?
Yeah.
We just watched a video.
You just watched a video on me doing. I did Biggie, two
Biggie.
Biggie Smalls.
Oh, I wasn't watching it. You were showing him.
That's because you don't care. Because
What
when
were
I
you
send
doing?
it to you, when I I texted it to you, you don't watch them.
Dude, I'm so fucking busy. You think I have time to sit and watch
Stop.
your YouTube video?
Stop.
He looks at it and goes, "Eh."
He goes, "Oh, Cox, I
have
don't
work.
need him.
I'm raising a kid. I have no time for nothing.
Your wife's raising a kid. You've got a full-time nanny. You come home and you. Oh, listen, I have a buddy who literally, his wife makes him spend an hour with his daughter every day.
1
and
hour? That's it?
And he'll call me and complain. He's like,
What a
listen,
piece of shit.
Listen, bro. He's like, I'm almost done with this. I got like 15 more minutes. And she's like, get off the phone. He's like, all right, 1 minute. Listen, I got 15 more minutes with this kid. And
Oh, that's sad. That's fucking
he'll call me
sad,
back in
man.
15 minutes. He'll be like, yeah, it's like an hour. I mean, she's like 4 months old. She can't even hold her head up. Like, what are we gonna do? What bonding? She doesn't even know I'm here. She doesn't know who I am. Like,
It's true.
he's like, I mean, can I come back when she's 7? Like, okay, maybe we have something to talk about. Like, it's
so
horrible, and
mental.
it's horrible, Danny. I hear you. I see the look on your face.
Oh, yeah, he
It's-
hates
it's-
it.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It's sad.
It is sad.
But it's a majority. It's a majority of parents, unfortunately.
Yes.
My wife knows. I mean, I don't know how much. I don't really want to. But there's a lot of even moms who are just like, they have children, young toddlers, 2-year-olds, and they're just like, they just want to get away from them.
Yeah.
They're just looking for escape from.
They want to be.
Raising
They
their
want to have a
kids.
kid, but they don't want to be a mother.
Exactly.
Right.
It's fucking sad.
Well, anyway.
It's the problem. It's the problem with the world, I guess.
Yeah.
It's the biggest problem is parenting. That's what creates all the problems. Bad parenting creates bad people.
Maybe sometimes.
Case in point.
What he's got?
Look at you.
He's got a job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's doing all right. And there's an occasional DUI and arrest and some domestic violence.
Did you have good parents?
Me, I had.
I mean, I'm not getting flagged
not
at the
great
airport.
parents. What?
I'm not getting flagged at the airport.
I had a great mother, and she just got stuck with this guy. My father. So
Did you ever meet your dad?
yeah, he was there the whole time I was growing
Oh,
up.
was he?
Yeah. It's just
But he
how
wasn't that great of a guy.
there are people that will tell you he was a phenomenal person. He was an amazing person. and then there's his family. It's just like growing up, he's an alcoholic, and there are screaming matches and alcoholic binges and throwing bottles and calling, your kids' names. And, it's you know what I'm saying? Like my mom, like she's got 4 kids. Like, what's she going to do? Leave? She can't leave. How's she going to support 4 kids? And he was just belligerent, and he was just, he was an asshole. But you talk to any of the people that worked with him, and they'll tell you he's amazing. He was amazing.
What did he do for a living?
He was a State Farm manager, so he would hire you to become a State Farm agent, and you're showing up driving a 10-year-old Volkswagen Beetle that's rusted out, and 2 years later, you're living in a $300,000 or $400,000 house, driving a $90,000 Mercedes, and going on a month's vacation every year, and just kicking ass.
Where
and they
is
were
this at?
What do you mean?
State
It's
Farm?
State Farm. It's here. So they were like,
In
those.
Tampa?
They're everywhere.
No.
Yes, he lived in Yeah, I
Okay.
grew up in Tampa. So, but I mean, and he had like 25 agents, and they all look. His agents were like always. They had this thing called like the Millionaires Club. Like they were always in the top, at the top of the whole country. Like they're always winning the trips. So they'll tell you, he changed my life. He was amazing. He was an amazing salesperson, amazing motivator, amazing this, amazing, and he was. But,
he was like the Belfort.
Not
of
when he
insurance.
came home.
right. But when he came home, it was a different story. Or he was great, and he was great for a year, and then he'd go on a 3-week drinking binge. Listen, he got so bad, State Farm stuck him in multiple rehabs.
Really?
Had our whole family go to like Al-Anon. You know what Al-Anon is? So you have AA, and then for the families of people in AA, you have Al-Anon. So our whole family, it's like now my dad's got 45 days in this, this rehab, and now somehow or another I just got sentenced to 45 days where I got to come twice a week and hold hands with all these people and talk about how horrible their their alcoholic parent is. It's like,
What the fuck?
how did I get stuck with this? He's got the problem. Like I don't have a problem.
Right.
But yeah, he and that's just that's the whole thing. It's like you can be amazing in one aspect of your life and just a complete shit in another.
Is your dad still alive?
No, died when I was in prison.
Died when you were in prison.
Did you ever rip off State Farm out of spite?
No.
Did you think about it?
No, I'm not sure how I would have done that. I mean, actually, I'm sure how I could have done it, but
Well, it's funny. I mean, it's a sad thing, but some of the most success. The fact of the matter is, some of the most successful and some of the most creative people have drug and alcohol problems, or have addictive personalities, or have vices that eventually send them down the dark spiral.
right.
So, it's hard. A lot of people can't balance that. A lot of people can't balance having a successful career, being really good at one thing, and balance another aspect of their life, balance their family life and their professional life.
Yeah, nobody's. You gotta, you gotta give somewhere. And in his case, it was, his family. And it's funny growing up, like
Some of the best people I've ever met have been alcoholics and drug addicts.
Oh, without a doubt. I agree. I mean, I know a bunch of guys that are in AA, and great. I know a bunch of guys that have drug problems that I think are great people. I was just thinking, like, I remember growing up, like my parents would get into fights, and they would threaten. My mom would threaten to leave my dad, and they'd get into arguments, and there was going to be a divorce and this and that, and like, and like my brothers and sisters were like, no, let's, don't get a divorce. Like, this and this, it'll be an issue, and this and this. And I was like the only one out of them. I was like, let's go. I'm done with this dude. Like, what is with you guys?
Really?
Oh yeah. I was like, remember one time my dad drove up, my mom was like gonna leave. Like, I'm leaving, I'm taking the kids. And he drove us into like the projects, like a really, really rundown area where the houses were just crap. And there's like houses there's like cars on concrete blocks. I mean, there's trash in the street. Like, it's a rough looking area. And we're driving through, my dad goes, if your mother leaves me, we can afford 2 houses like this. This is the kind of neighborhood you'll be growing up in. I'm terrified. Like, we're like, this is.
Wow, he's selling it.
He's really, I mean, and he goes, and you'll all have to make the decision. I remember my mom said, oh, George, don't say that. Don't tell them that. And he said, your mother will have, you will all have to make the decision on who you want to live with. And who you want to live with. And I said, Mom. I'm like 8 years old, 9 years old. And I'm like, Mom, I want to live with Mom. Mom. Like the look on
I'll take Mom.
The look on his face was like, Jesus. The words were still lingering in the air. Like, it was like, yeah, I'm good.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow. So never had a good relationship with him, huh?
No. He died. So he died, I think, 2014. And my mom died last month.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
I've been wanting to do, like, on my channel, I want to do a video because people leave the. Did you ever see the videos where I mimic my mom's voice, where I do the whole,
Yeah, I've heard you do it on
Matthew,
here. You've done it on here. Yeah, you've called your mom on this podcast.
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
Yeah, we've had her on the phone a couple times.
So sweet.
Rest in peace,
Yeah.
Ms. Cox.
She, so I want to do a video on my thing because I've got guys leaving comments in the comment section saying, "Bro, you got to do another video on your mom." And then people will leave comments on the mom videos. Like, new subscribers will go back and start watching all my stuff, and then when they get the mom videos, like, "Bro, your mom's a gangster. Bro, your mom's awesome. Like, you got to do." And it's like, and that's been going on for over a month now, month and a half now. And I'm sitting there thinking, I need to do a video, but like for a month, like I couldn't even talk about it.
Yeah.
I'd tear up. I'd get upset. And but honestly, like, I got out of prison, like I was desperate to try. I wanted to get out of prison because my mom's coming to see me every 2 weeks. Like, and she's old. She'd had a couple strokes. Like, I want to get out. I want to at least get out and have her see me free. Does that make sense? Like, I don't want her to die thinking I'm in prison. Like, I want to be able to get out and see that where she sees, hey, he's doing the right thing. So, I'm going to see her 3 days a week in the morning. I had breakfast with her three mornings a week, and then I would have dinner with her once a week.
Wow.
So I go get her, like, Olive Garden.
You're like the picture perfect son.
No, honestly, my sister would see her every day, sometimes twice a day. My sister handled all. That's why, and like anytime anything.
That's a lot.
Oh, bro, my sister.
Still, breakfast 3 times a week. That's a lot, bro.
I mean, yeah, but that's
You're a great son.
But stop. That's also the reason I didn't get. Like, people were like, "Oh, why don't you get a job doing that?" Really? Because if I work at FedEx, I can't see my mother 3 days a week. I can't have dinner. Like, I can't say, "Hey, look, my mom." She would call me in the middle of the day. It's 1 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the day, and you answer the phone. "Hey, Mom." She would FaceTime me. "What are you doing?" And I'd be like, "I'm painting. What are you painting?" And I'd show her. And
Yeah.
so, that kind of stuff. Like, so my sister's was the top notch. Like, but I was trying to be what I could be. But
do you think that's why you're such a good son? Because your sister was setting such a high bar?
Would people say that, bro? I was a shit of a fucking son. So, because I got out and I went to go see my mother after she came to see me in prison every 2 weeks.
Right.
Oh,
and
she did?
Yeah, every 2 weeks she saw me for 12 years. And so I got out and I go see her.
She would drive
during
to Coleman?
Until she had the stroke. And then when she had the stroke, she would make my brother take her, or she would make one of her nurses take. Oh, absolutely. She was a fucking gangster.
Wow.
She wasn't fucking around.
That's badass.
And if somebody couldn't do it, she said, "Well, then I'll pay somebody to bring me. We're going." "Well, Mom, you're tired. You had the stroke. You don't do it." "Well, then I'll sleep in the car." And they'd say, and we have to wait in that area. And, and they'd go, "Well, then I'm already sitting down in my chair. I'll wait." "Well, and then what if this, what if that?" "Well, what if they won't let you bring your chair in? Remember that one time they wouldn't let you bring your chair in?" "Right, and I used their chair."
Yeah.
No
and
excuse.
she's just like,
How old was she? Was she when she passed?
91.
91. Wow.
Right. So, so I would go there and we would go we'd eat, she would eat and I drink coffee and we'd eat breakfast, whatever. I told you that. She saw the commercial. Remember I said she saw the commercial? Yeah. That was hilarious. So then I would walk her around. So I remember it was on a was it a Monday? No, it was a Friday. So on that Friday, I went there and we walked around the whole compound, right? When I say walked around, I pushed her in the chair and her nurse would come with me. Her nurse is named Celine. Super sweet. She loves Celine. So we would walk around the whole compound. And I remember we walked around once and then for some reason I went, "Let's do another lap." And I'd never do another lap. Like, it's hot. I'm ready to go, and she's hot. So we go her down on the lap, and then we go back, and we get her out of the chair, and she sits down on her bed. And as soon as she sat down, she went, kind of rocked a little bit, and Celine goes, "Are you dizzy? You know, Miss Cox, are you dizzy?" You know, she goes, "I think she's dizzy." And I went, "No." I said, "Mom, are you dizzy?" And she looked up at me, and her face slumped, and her eyes shifted to the side.
Oh.
And she just leaned into me. And I was like, she had a massive stroke. So we laid her down real quick, took her vital signs. Bro, heart like a bull, like just boom, boom, but just fine. Heart's fine. Everything's good. So we call my sister. What do we do? You want us to call 911? So we call 911. They come and get her. She's in the hospital within 15, 20 minutes.
Wow.
Hospital's right down the street. So bring her to the hospital. They say we can give her a drug. Maybe it breaks it up. They give her the drug. It doesn't work. Now what do? They're like, we can put her in the, we can put her upstairs. We can make her comfortable. We can do this. We're like, no, she's not. Like, we can give her a feeding tube. Like, at this point, she can barely communicate. She can't swallow. So, she had I forget what they call it, but there's a form where it says, like, you do not resuscitate. You do not do anything that will continue my life if I can't do these things. And so if I can't feed myself and do certain things, that you don't do no procedures that will extend my life. So that's a feeding tube. That's like, there's all these things, and they're like, well, we can put her upstairs in the ICU. We're like, no. She has 24-hour care. We'll bring her home. And they were like, we can bring her to hospice. And we're like, she has 24-hour care. Like, she loves her nurses. She had a great nurse team. So they bring her back, and hospice comes in, and they just monitor her. Does it make sense? Like,
yeah.
they're not there. They come in once a day. They call a couple times a day, and they come in. And hospice is amazing. Like, if you've never been through it, like, some people will tell you, oh, that's horrible. Listen, I don't know anybody that's had a bad experience with hospice. Like, they're awesome. So they come in. What's going on? They talk to her, or they try and talk to her. She can't talk, obviously. They basically give her pain medication. But she can't eat. She can't feed herself. So you're waiting there. You're changing her. You're just waiting with her, and you're talking to her, and they give her pain medication. And so after a few days, she kind of slipped into, like, not a coma, but she just was sleeping. You could wake her up. But even then, it's like she's woken up and she can barely, she can, maybe pump your hand or something. And so then, like, the last 3 days, like, I was there, like, the whole time for literally, like, that, so it was like a week. So it was actually exactly 1 week, because it was the following Thursday. So the following Thursday, and I was there, like, I think I left, other than going home to go sleep and come back, I left one time to do a Zoom call and came back. And so it was me, my sister, my brother, and for a week, like, her family came in. Like, this is it. Keep in mind, too, she's been in hospice before, and after 2 weeks, she just got better.
Wow.
She'd had a massive stroke. I mean, listen, she's a Viking.
Yeah.
Like, she's a gangster, bro. Like, suddenly she just, one day she's sitting up and saying, I want to play bridge. What's going on? Why am I not at home? And you're like, what the hell's going on? Like, we're planning a funeral.
Oh my
What are you doing?
God.
And she's like, I want to be in my apartment. I don't want to be here. You're like, what's going? So
Jesus Christ.
So I remember my brother-in-law, he's funny. He goes, look, they have hospice come in. They give us all a big talk. We're all, and my ex-wife's there. She's a fucking mess. Crying. She loves my mom. Crying, like, my sister. Everybody's upset and everything. We're sitting there. And my brother-in-law says, can I say something? He said, I just want everybody here to know that there is a good chance a week from now she's feeding the fishes out in the pond and asking to be taken for a walk. He goes, I'm just saying she's a Viking. We all know that. I mean, bro, we just burst out laughing. Like, it was so boom. He's like, so I know you're upset. This doesn't necessarily mean what we think. I mean, we've been through this before. Yeah. Well, they had. I wasn't there. So, yeah. So I was there the whole time. Held her hand, and finally, her breath gets, she starts turning blue. Her breaths get deeper or further and further apart, to the point where, I mean, like, she stops for like a minute, and then you think, oh my God, she's not breathing. Like, it's been a minute. And all of a sudden she goes, takes a deep breath, and then stops again.
Man, that's crazy.
Bro, got to a point where it was like a minute and a half where you're like it's coming. I remember I walked outside. I said to my sister, she was on the phone. I go, Helen, come, you got to come in. We walked back in, sat down. She took her last breath. I grabbed her hand, took her last breath. Minute and a half later, maybe 2-3 minutes later, be honest, her nurse, Celine, goes up, listens to her chest, bursts into tears, runs out of the room. And she just never breathed again.
Wow.
But here's the thing. Like, I was upset about it, but it was the best. Look, like my mom said this, life's dangerous. Nobody gets out alive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
In the game of life, 91 died surrounded by her family.
Yeah.
I mean,
Doesn't
she
get any
fucking
better.
won, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't get
Big
better than
time.
that. Of all the possible scenarios, that's the best you can hope for.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it was it.
Fuck,
really
man.
thought I was going to be able to get through this.
Mm-hmm.
I've told this story a few times. I think I've told it once without tearing up.
Mm-hmm.
But, so yeah, that was it. So it was, a week later, we had the celebration of life or whatever, because she was in an urn, so it's not like a thing. You don't view the body.
Yeah.
And then like a week later, she was, we buried her with my dad in Florida National Cemetery or something. My dad was in the Korean War, so they put her urn with his urn there.
Wow.
Nice.
And that was it.
Wow.
So, yeah. So I got to get out of prison. I got to be with her for 2 years. Best possible.
Best possible
sure.
scenario, for
Right,
sure.
Yeah.
right.
Most mothers probably don't get to experience that much time with their kids, especially towards the end of their life.
Listen, and I was such a shit as a son. If I hadn't gone to prison, I never would have spent that much time with her.
Right.
Because I wouldn't have felt obligated, and I had a completely different frame of mind where I'd have been like, well, I'm living my life, man. I'm living. It's like, well,
Right,
whoa,
right.
whoa. Then you go to prison and you get your priorities straight and you realize, like, every 2 weeks, bro. Like, I think she missed maybe 2 or 3 weeks when she had the stroke.
Mm-hmm.
So like it was like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Like she missed a few weeks, and then it was like, boom, I'm coming.
On my way.
Fucking,
Wow.
you're in a wheelchair. Well, I've seen people in wheelchairs.
Yeah.
They let them in.
That's awesome.
She's a badass.
Fuck.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
I wonder what it
that's
must.
rad.
I wonder what it must be like for to see your son or your child or whoever it is go to prison for that long. What it must be like. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure
Oh yeah. They.
it's got to be brutal,
Yeah.
especially when it's your own kid. You'd be like, oh, what did I do? You know what I mean? There's so much like reflection that you must do.
But I mean, honestly, like it's, you know how it's the whole nature versus nurture.
Mm-hmm.
Like but to be honest, like it's, in my opinion, I've heard doctors and geneticists and say it's really, you'd be shocked how much nature it really is. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, it's a lot of nature. Like, it's more nature than, it's not 50-50. It's like 80-20. Like, you could be the perfect parent to this child, and he still is just a psychopath.
Just out of the box.
Yeah. There was just nothing you could probably do.
That is crazy, isn't it? It's also crazy how some kids, like young kids, come out. Like, people have 2 kids, and one will be like completely calm, and relaxed. The next one will be completely fucking bouncing off the wall, psychopath.
Well, they have
Straight
all
out of the box.
They have all those twin studies where they've got like twins or triplets that were all separated at birth and moved around the country, and then they find them, and they're there's like 3 women, and all of them are nurses. And
Yeah,
like
that
one,
too.
one of them was raised in a family of like doctors. One of them was raised basically like in a trailer park where their whole family was drug addicts and they were in and out of prison. And one of them was, it's like, they're all nurses. Like,
Right
how
now.
did you? All of them managed to get through school and become nurses. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's all these
Nature.
Right. There's these guys that, like, boom, these two male twins separated. One was raised in foster care. The other one was raised with parents that were millionaires. They both end up owning businesses that are similar, and they're doing basically at the same level. They are married. They have a couple kids. Like, they both teach, Little League. It's like, That's insane. Like, there's all these studies like that.
It's in you.
Right.
That is weird.
It is. I think that's super odd. You know?
It's like when I first had my dog as a puppy, we used to take it to like this doggy daycare during the day, and it's an Australian Shepherd, a sheep herding dog, and even it never like herded sheep before, you know. But we took it there, and
it's got all the other other
cameras.
What happened?
His camera died.
Sorry.
Oh, suddenly it's got all the other dogs are in a corner. He's running around touching them. And
Yeah, so they call my mom and they say, you got to come pick him up. He can't come here anymore. They say, we put him with the small dogs. He's cornered them all and herds them in a circle. We put him with the big dogs. He does the same shit. Nobody wants to hang out
Yeah,
with
but
him.
when my little teacup Yorkie comes around, the Yorkie herds the sheepdog all around the pool.
That's like a fly buzzing on a couch shit, bro.
my friend Stacy's dog does the same thing. He's constantly nudging me, I'm like, stop it.
Yeah.
He's constantly trying to herd me into.
It's just in you.
Yeah.
It's in some people, dogs, animals, everything.
It's so funny.
That is weird, isn't it? What
What
are your brothers and
dying
sisters
for that.
do?
I was thinking this better go somewhere. When you started, I thought but okay.
Yeah, it's just what it made me think of.
What are your brothers and sisters doing?
I mean, my brother works like he's a manager at like a recreation center. My sister she managed my brother-in-law's law firm and raised three boys. My brother has 4 girls.
So no con artistry.
No, they're all adopted. Everybody.
Oh, really?
All 3 of my siblings were adopted.
You don't have any biological brothers and sisters?
No.
Okay.
All 3 of them were adopted. My mother went in for a hysterectomy at the age of 40. The doctor opened her up. Her ovaries were spongy. And he was like, did we give her a pregnancy test? And they were like, no, she can't have kids. And they were like, he's like, give her a pregnancy test because her ovaries are spongy. Like they went and they tested, came back, boom, she's pregnant. So we're up. Stitched her up. She woke up. My dad's there. And she said, how'd the surgery go? And he said, you're pregnant. And she said, I came in for a hysterectomy. What are you talking about?
And then came Matt Cox.
Yeah.
You're
Wow.
a miracle baby.
Yeah. Weird, huh? Like she had been told she was barren.
But she was
couldn't have
40.
children. Yeah.
That's late, right?
Keep in mind,
That's super
keep in mind,
late.
she'd been trying to have kids since they got married in their early 20s. They ended up adopting 3 kids.
Before they had you.
Right, and then they were like, I wasn't even she can't get pregnant.
Right.
Period. So
That's wild.
it is weird. Right?
That's
That's a
wild.
crazy story.
I wonder if you're somehow related to Elizabeth Holmes.
I don't know. Is that the
Do you
segue?
like that?
Is
You like that segue?
It was forced, but it was good. Maybe Elizabeth.
I was wondering where that was going. That could have went anywhere.
Maybe we were separated.
Yeah.
You and Elizabeth were separated at birth. You
Yeah,
guys don't look
yeah.
anything alike, though, so it's not possible.
You know what's funny though is, like you were telling me about, because this whole time, like she's supposed to have been going to trial. Like, it's been years, right? How many has it been? A couple years?
Yeah, it's been
2-3 years.
I don't know, but I think it's close to 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
And now she's finally going. I mean, and I remember I told you she was trying to say like, she was trying to do like, wasn't that she was like a narcissist or something? She was trying to blame it on some kind of psychological problem, and they were like, it's
No.
like the court's not having that. We're not. You can't. Present
Well, I
that
heard
to
that she had some sort of like Me Too defense, that she was being
Well, no, now.
sexually manipulated by Sonny, her partner.
But that's what you said. That's what you said. That's her new defense.
Her new defense, right.
But you watched the documentaries on her, right? Like, there's so
I listened
many.
to the podcast. There was like a podcast.
Oh
like
yeah,
a
I've
6-part
listened
podcast.
to 3 documentaries. Some of them are short. Some are like 15 minutes, and then there's one that's like 45 minutes or so. Like, it's so over the top. Like, there are so many interviews with people that worked for her where she's coming to them and telling them, "You're going to do this," or "You're going to say," or "Stop putting those in," or any of these that are negative, we send them off and retest them. We obviously, like, she's running this whole scam. So I mean, if anybody doesn't know about the scam, is that she went to what, Berkeley, for like
I don't remember,
for like a year or something, or 2 semesters or whatever. I guess 2 semesters kind of is a year. So for like a year, she went to like Berkeley and dropped out because she was going to come up what she wanted to come up with. First, it started off as a patch that would constantly give you medication based on your blood. Like, it would constantly see like how much, let's say, insulin do you need, and constantly monitor and that sort of thing. And then it turned into, or any type of medication really. And then it turned into, she wanted to come up with a machine that you, with just a pinprick of blood, it would do like 140 tests.
Right.
And it was small and compact. You could do it, and it would be in your local Walgreens, and you wouldn't need all these expensive tests. And so it would tell you what kind of cancer you had, or if you had, smallpox or whatever. So, and so she started this company called Theranos, and she immediately, like, she got like $1 million from like a neighbor or something. Then she got another investor, and then another one, and then she started doing some advertising, and then she did this, and next thing you know, she got into like some women's magazine, and next thing you know, she's getting in millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
And she had met a guy. She'd gone to China, I think, and met this guy Sonny, who was Indian. Happened to meet him on some kind of a thing. Met him, and now he ended up coming to the United States and helping her open this company. Then they started dating. He's like, what, 20 or 30 years older than her?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
He's already a successful investor or something.
Right, and not in her league. Like, to me, I thought I think she's super attractive. So, she's plain. Okay, she's plain, but I think she's not unattractive.
She's not unattractive, no.
So
she's not smoke show.
She's not. Look, in comparison to Sonny, she's a 10.
Yeah.
She's a dime piece compared
not
to
really.
Sonny.
I've seen uglier dudes than Sonny score way hotter chicks than her.
Well, he's also got like $20 million. He was worth
right.
Like
he
20
can do
million.
better for $20 million.
For $20 million, you think?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If you want to you just have to have him sign a contract. I'm just putting you on payroll.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway,
everybody does.
So So they end up starting this company. He comes in, and he's like a little tyrant. He was a little tyrant, supposedly. And he's threatening people, and they're signing non-disclosure agreements, and they're threatening lawsuits. But they started getting all these big names on the board. Because if you can say, hey, Bill Clinton is on the board.
You can raise money easier.
Right. It's easier. Like, oh, well, how do I know this is for real? Well, Bill Clinton thinks it's for real. He's on our board of directors. Right.
Right. And one of the main problems was a lot of the money they were raising, they were spending a significant amount of the money on advertising and not actually making this thing work.
Well,
not actually on the product itself. They're spending their money getting their name out there and creating a big name in the media.
But they are still putting money into the problem. They're still dumping money into it, but you do understand that, like, the technology doesn't work. Like, you can't do what she's saying you can do.
Right.
Even the machines they finally came up with, out of 140 some odd tests, like, it could do like 18 tests. And even then, half of those were inaccurate.
They could do those from one drop of blood, right? One finger prick.
Right. And a lot of those, they were still sending off samples. A lot of them, they were taking full blood vials and sending them off. Like, the whole purpose.
Right.
What they get? Did they get Walgreens for $140 million? Was that what?
Something like that.
Something
like that. Oh yeah, they hit Walgreens for a lot.
I mean, here's the thing too. Like, you're not even telling them what the technology is. Like, they're like, how does this work and that work? And they're like, she's like, oh, it's proprietary. We can't discuss that. But we basically, and she'd give a very broad, basic explanation that kind of seems like it works if you don't really know what you're talking about. But if there's a biologist there, or
there was even some lady, there was in the podcast I listened to, there was even just some lady who, lived by herself on a single income. And I guess she had like some retirement saved up, and she invested $100,000 of her own retirement into the company and lost it all.
Yeah, that's just left and right. Like, that's what's just happening left and right. So then eventually it collapses. Eventually the whole thing collapses. Like, finally it comes down to it. We can't provide the machines. We don't have the machines. They can't do what we've been saying they can do. We can't get them. They don't. Even the ones we've come up with, they're like twice as big as the ones we've been showing you. They only do like 15 or 18 tests out of the 140. Yeah. It's just not working. And so the whole thing starts to collapse. And then there's an investigation. There's I forget who the big politician was.
I can't get past. I mean, you can't get past the fucking fake ass turtleneck and the voice.
Yeah, she starts
that weird voice.
She starts mimicking,
talking like a man.
What if she was mimicking? They said she
was trying to mimic Steve Jobs with the turtleneck. And Zuckerberg with the voice, and she kind of looks like Zuckerberg with the beady eyes.
She does that. So and every once in a while she would slip. Like they have her on recordings where she slips for a
out of
second
it,
and
yeah.
then she comes right back into
I
it.
wonder if she's gonna change that for the trial, because you would think she'd be more likable and innocent, being like a girl, more feminine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not trying to be like, hey guys, I'm innocent.
It's just
She's taking it to trial?
Stupid.
Oh, they're picking the jury right now.
Oh, yeah.
She's done. Like I'll bet you they went to her and they offered her a plea of.
That's your cue, Ryan. What?
Yeah, he's got to fix. You can fix the camera.
What was I gonna say?
Oh yeah. I'll bet you.
I was gonna say that's the wrong one.
Yeah, bro. There's better pictures.
So they're picking.
Help
Yeah,
her out.
So this is the Wall Street Journal article. Elizabeth Holmes Theranos trial pictures inside the courtroom saga. So they're picking the jury, and I heard that they're having a lot of trouble whittling down the jury because they're asking them, okay, what do you know? Do you know anything about Elizabeth Holmes? And a lot of them know about her story. Like, yeah, I know she wears turtlenecks and changes her voice. Okay, you're disqualified.
Right.
You know what I mean? They want to find an unbiased jury, and they're having trouble doing that because
that's every big case.
everybody
right?
knows her story.
Well, I mean, look you understand they probably went to her and offered her 20 years. That's probably what happened. They probably came to her and said, look,
Yeah, she's not going to do any time.
huh?
I don't think
Oh,
she's
in
gonna do
her
that.
mind.
In her mind, and her husband. You know who the guy?
She's going to prison.
She just had
How
a
much do you
baby.
think she gets?
I think she gets 30 to 40 years.
Really?
It's a ton of. I mean, these are people's retirement funds. These are people. She's been lying. She lied for years.
Basically, like a Madoff.
She threatened worse than Madoff.
Yeah.
She's threatening
Worse than Madoff?
People are leaving. People are saying, "This is what's happening. You're lying about this. These tests," and she's telling them, "We're going to sue you. We're going to one of the guys committed suicide.
Oh, yeah, I remember
one guy
that.
that has
I
to
remember
do a
that.
deposition. She's pressuring him to not say what he has to. If he's being honest, I have to explain that you're fudging all of these numbers. And so what happens is they put so much pressure on him. He's so afraid to testify, doesn't want to lie. He goes home and kills himself. He's an older. I think they were going to fire him too. I think he had been fired. They were going to fire him, and he was saying, like, if I tell the truth, she's going to ruin my life, and he just commits suicide. So,
And he was a lot older. And
Right.
I remember his wife was. I remember that in the podcast. That was fucked up.
I mean, it's like this chick has been blatantly forging documents, forging test results, threatening anybody who dares to try and expose her. And then they probably went to her and said, look, we'll give you a 20-year deal. Like, that's a gift. But to her, in her position where she's living in a multi-million-dollar house, she's
living in a $124 million house.
insane.
Nice.
The guy she's with now, he's like an heir to some big hotel empire, and they
Can you
just had a
imagine?
baby.
So I mean, look, she's setting herself up for
She said herself. You think the baby
Your
was
Honor,
only for the fence?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
She's that bad of a sociopath.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, they probably offered her 20 years, and in her mind, she's thinking, I can't do 20 years. Now, if she'd been being held in the marshal's holdover for a couple of years, instead of being let out on bond, she would have gotten her head right. Like, in her position, she can't fathom being in prison. Like, to her, that's hell, and she'll never survive it. But if she had actually been held for a year or so, she'd realize, I can do this. Like, right now, her expectations of life are so high, she can't imagine it. But if she had got them knocked down, like, look, she'll be suicidal for a year or so in prison. But after a couple of years, she'll start to realize her expectations of life will come down. She'll start to appreciate a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You don't think all of the wealthy people that she's connected with, all of the lobbyists and politicians she probably knows, you don't think there's
that
any
she
way-
ripped off? Nobody's coming to her
but
defense.
There's still there's not still people there's got to still be people on her side, especially with her
Anybody
husband.
she knew
with her
on her-
husband, how wealthy he is.
Yeah, they got money.
They got a lot of fucking money, Matt. There's got to be a way she'd slip through this.
Oh, yeah, this is a possibility.
No way. We need to come back here after she gets sentenced. I'm telling you, she's
Look,
getting a minimum of 20 years.
get the
she
right-
goes to trial and loses, she's getting 30.
You get the right lawyers and the right jury, you can.
She may
some
get
shit
more.
Can go wrong.
She should plead guilty to 20 years and take 20 on a wire fraud
So
charge.
you're taking over 30.
I'm saying over 30.
I'm taking the under.
Wow.
I'm saying she does under.
Nah, but if
I'm
they
saying she
offer
does.
20 and she gets convicted, it's definitely 40.
I'm saying under 10.
There's no way.
Under
no
10. Yep.
way. How much loss is there?
How much restitution would she
Go to
owe?
the next slide, Brian.
What do you think? You're talking 500 million?
The trial of Elizabeth Holmes, founder of the blood testing company Theranos, who was accused of defrauding patients and investors, began with opening statement September 8th at California Federal Courthouse. The one-time Silicon Valley superstar has inspired movies, books, and podcasts.
How much money?
Next slide. Okay, this is showing reporters, spectators. Keep going.
Oh, it's got to be hundreds of millions. It's got to be $500 million.
37-year-old founder of Theranos faces charges of wire fraud and conspiracy to commit wire fraud. Once known for her black turtlenecks and baritone voice, she has worn a mask, ignored questions from reporters, and stayed mostly silent in court. She's also walking around with her mom. They show her walking into the courtroom, like holding her mom's hand.
Are those her only charges?
Yeah.
You understand wire fraud's 20 years. So if they said if she had said, "Listen, I'll plead guilty to one count of wire fraud," if I plead guilty, typically if you plead guilty, they will consolidate all your charges. So I get the max. You can give me the max. I clearly have made hundreds. It's been hundreds of millions of dollars were lost. I'll get the max. It's 20 years. No. In her mind, I'm going to go to trial and I'm going to blame everything on Sonny, and they're gonna. You're fucking nuts. Nobody's going to buy the
I bet
battered.
she's got some crazy lawyers. That's going to be a fun trial.
She's in a California court. Miss Holmes' mother and constant companion has firmly held hands with her daughter while entering court. A defense attorney described her to the jurors as a public servant who instilled in her daughter a desire to change the world for the better.
Oh yeah, she's gonna sell it, man. It's gonna be good. Did you watch the new Cocaine Cowboys?
Look, that's her. No, I heard that was good.
It's good. You gotta watch it though, because you gotta see the lawyers these cartel guys hire, bro, and they get off on everything.
We know a lawyer who represents the cartel guys. Lawyer.
This guy reminds me of Bjorn too. He's
really,
bald, but he's like next level crazy.
We gotta get Bjorn back in on this fucking podcast.
Hey, I'm saying one of the Colombian or whatever drug dealers. I thought you
the drug
interviewed.
pilot.
No. This was like a Spanish guy.
Oh, yeah,
remember?
George Valdez. Yes, I had him.
Yeah. His son. Remember, his son had.
He was an accountant. Yeah, he was he did the accounting for a bunch of the guys. Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was a drug.
You gotta watch the new one.
He started out doing the accounting, bro, and then he made a lot of fucking money. Crazy.
You gotta watch the new one. It's really good.
So Billy Corp. I think George Valdez is in the new one.
Yeah, he is in the. That's what
is
I'm
he really?
I saw him and I was like, hey,
I gotta watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
so
go.
and
it's
I
good,
saw,
man.
but I only after I watched it for a little bit, like I watched like 10 or 15 minutes of it. I forget what happened. Somebody called or something, and I knew.
Yeah,
you gotta watch when they start to go to trial, bro. It's so crazy. They hire like the craziest, most expensive lawyers, and then there's like a whole deal at the end where, like, the lawyers got paid by drug money, like millions of dollars. So they try to
and
fuck
get
with
the money.
lawyers. They're like, oh, you're not allowed to take this money or whatever. And I think that's actually what one guy ended up down the road getting popped for finally, was he paid one of his lawyers one time with a check. And they traced it back. They couldn't prove it or something. He ended up getting that charge, and they hammered him because they beat the whole RICO conspiracy charge.
They're furious, right?
They beat everything. It's fucking sick.
Were there any cops? Because I was
tons of cops.
Cops that were indicted.
Oh yeah, they came out with you'll like this part. The lawyers pre-trial, all of the people who were testifying, there's like 100 people, a list of them. They print it in the jail magazine, in the New York Times, in the paper with everybody's name. Everybody gets killed. Every fucking body.
So there was a cop in Coleman.
They do that?
Yeah, in that Prison Time magazine.
I mean, they're not supposed. They
That's
shouldn't,
just like a murder. Basically, they put a kill list.
That's
out.
what they said. They said you put out a kill list. They said, look, we're looking to talk to these people to get some. What
we're trying to track these people down.
We're trying to talk to them. If you can find them, please help us.
Wow.
Well, they got found.
So one of the cops involved in that whole thing, I was locked up with. He had an amazing story, and there was a hitman that I actually read. There was a book called Making Jack Falcone. Mm-hmm. So in that book, and a lot
Jack Falcone. Who was Jack Falcone?
it was a fictitious FBI agent. Like, it wasn't a real person.
Because there was an actual like big time cocaine trafficker down there named Willie Falcone.
That's who this whole documentary's about, Willie Falcone.
Is it really?
It's about Sal and Willie.
BB was friends with Willie.
The whole
my
thing's
God,
about
that's
Willie
crazy.
Falcone.
But this is a different person. So this was an FBI agent pretending to be a guy named Jack Falcone, and he infiltrates. But in the infiltration, and when you read the book, there's a guy who there's all these murders happening. And at one point, one of the guys goes to kill a lawyer. This guy's killing all these lawyers. So not the FBI agent, but the murderer who's out there, one murder. And he goes in and he kills this lawyer. He's killed a bunch of lawyers for the drug dealers and stuff. So he kills this one lawyer, him and another guy. And when they're leaving, the secretary's there. Like, she sees the whole thing. And the other guy's going, let's kill her. And the other guy's going, no. They argue. No, don't kill her, don't kill her. Blah, blah, blah. And it finally comes down to it where the guy's like, why? He's like, listen, we didn't get paid to kill her. Do you understand? We weren't told to kill her. We're not killing her.
It's like a Scarface thing.
All right, and he tells her, listen, this is a guy in prison that I knew named Gordo. He's the one who wouldn't kill her. And he says, and he got 40 years. And he testified against everybody. And still ended up with, got 40 years. So that's how bad. He's got like 12 fucking lawyers that were murdered. He killed. And then anyway, he ends up telling them, no. And he tells her, he says, listen, when the cops come and this, you've never seen us. He's like, because I will come back, and if I don't come back to kill you, I'll have someone come and do it. Like, I know who you are. Like, he got her license or something, and then he leaves. And he said, you know what? She never says nothing. She said, I am not talking to you guys. Some guys came in here and killed them. I couldn't recognize them. I don't know who they are. I don't know. He's like, she never said nothing. It was like, oh, okay. Gordo was really actually a very nice guy.
Was he?
I'm not a lawyer.
That actually
And
almost
he didn't
sounds
have a
like
hit
a
out
scene
on
in the documentary.
It does.
Oh,
They
that's what I'm saying. So
They kill a couple lawyers, and they do kill somebody sees it, and they take their driver's license, and he goes,
yeah. I mean, I think that's
know who
pretty
you are.
common. But yeah,
he says, you know us, but we know you. And he
I-
takes her license and puts it in his pocket.
I want to say this happened in Miami. It was either like Miami or maybe it was New York or something. Because the Jack Falcone thing happened in like New York, but they were talking about how all these guys are connected and they were murdering all these lawyers and this one guy. And as I'm reading the book, Jack Falcone, Gordo's in the unit with me. He's like, as I'm reading, like somebody saw it and said, hey, Gordo's in that book. I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah. And I go, you're in the book? He's like, yeah, page 142. I'm like, yeah.
That's funny. He knows the exact page.
Yeah, of course. He's a big shot.
That's funny. So Elizabeth Holmes, anyways, what were we talking about her? Yeah, Billy. That's the rich.
That's her new husband.
Her partner accompanied her to trial. The 29-year-old hotel heir once worked at LinkedIn and Luminar Technologies and is the father of her infant son named William Evans, like his dad and grandfather.
How long?
Royalty.
How long?
Is that a plane?
Fucking feds flying in.
We got a fucking airplane flying like 10 feet above our building right now. They all know when we're doing the podcast.
Yeah.
How long was she trying to get pregnant by this dude?
Day one.
Oh, I mean, she's
Second
like
one.
every time. Like,
She looked at him. She said, "You know what we're doing."
yeah. Come in me. Every single time.
And I wonder if he was just. Do you think he was just clout chasing? Because he could do way better than that.
Listen,
He's got to be getting something out of it.
Listen,
He's clout chasing for sure.
Listen, she's probably
probably
the best.
paying him
She's
a
probably
lot
the
of money
best
or something.
girlfriend he's ever had.
Yeah.
She's probably the best chick he's ever. Because think about it. She's
She
not
needs
gonna
you.
argue.
Hell
She
no.
needs you.
Yeah, but even the prisoners, after the prisoners are there for a long enough time, they think they run the asylum.
I'm not sure what that means. But I think she's got this guy roped in. Whatever it is.
Definitely.
She's got him roped in.
Yeah.
What's his angle?
His
Okay,
angle
this
is
is
she
her
probably
attorney.
thinks, my poor baby, she was taken advantage of by that mean Indian Sonny.
She manipulated him.
And like Sonny's like,
So the guy's dad is a San Diego hotel proprietor who's joined the Theranos founder in court during jury selection. He donned a ball cap and introduced himself to reporters as an interested spectator named Hansen.
An interested spectator.
So she's got a lot of rich people around her, Matt.
I can't imagine she still has any money
Go
though,
next.
right? Does she still have money?
Yes, she's got fucking money. Yes, she's got money.
How do you have money after?
Well, now she got this
she
guy.
hasn't
You
been?
think they
she
would-
hasn't gone to court
I
yet.
know, but you would think they would seize everything.
Bro, she's got it in bank. She's got money stashed. The fans. Look, she's got fans. There's women, blonde-haired women wearing black clothing.
That's crazy. Probably wouldn't it be amazing if like half the crowd were all women with blonde hair wearing turtlenecks?
So they're all just like
That's what I'm
fangirls.
picturing.
These girls are like fangirls.
They're all. She's got like a fan club, and they all have turtle. They talk like Elizabeth.
We want to be just like you.
Elizabeth, you're innocent. We know you're innocent. She's got to, at this point, she's got to be like, this is nuts. Like, even I think this is nuts, and I'm crazy.
Where's her trial at? What state?
It's
it's gotta be
it's
in
California.
California,
It's
right?
Northern California.
Oh, my God.
In her hometown.
You know, her mom has to know she's nuts. Like this didn't slip up on her. Like, she's already got to know, like, she's crazy. Like, she's been lying her whole life. Like,
Right, but it's a kid.
I got a feeling her mom's probably not too far from that too.
No.
I don't know.
Next.
Oh, listen.
That guy looks like a fucking goon.
I read so when I was doing the Marcus Shrinker story,
Yeah.
when I was doing the Marcus Shrinker story, I had to I read all these books on psycho.
He's the pathological liar. Right?
Yes.
All right.
So I read all these books on sociopaths, psychopaths, everything, and they have all these different examples. Like, there was this one guy who, like, literally had gotten a hammer. This is when he's like 7 or 8 years old, and the family had gone to some lake house that they had, and he went down, and they could got a hammer, and he went down by the lake, and they said we could hear like. They said, but it wasn't like, it was like he's banging into the dirt. We didn't know what he was. We listened to it for, God, she said, I mean, you know, for a while. We thought maybe he's nailing something in a tree. Maybe he's hitting stuff with a hammer, but there was nothing down there he could do any damage with. She said, well, finally, like she or her husband went down to see, what is it? And he was smashing frogs and I mean, blowing them apart. Like, we're talking about like an egg. If you smashed like guts and blood, but she said he'd been doing it like there were hundreds of them, and it was just death, like just blood everywhere, and he was just having a blast. She said then later did it with kittens, like the neighbor had
Shrinker?
not Shrinker.
Oh.
You understand, right? So
Yeah,
I read
I
a
was
book.
following
I
you.
read a book about during the while I was
While you were doing the Shrinker thing.
and she was explaining so the psychiatrist that wrote this book is explaining just like the psychology and the whole thing, and it was just horrible. Like, at some point this guy goes and he gets a job, like graduated college. Like, he's never had real friends. She's like, like the mother was explaining, like, he's never had a connection with anybody. He's always used people. He would lie and do whatever he had to do to get what he wanted, then not own up to anything. Like that, his parents are just like disgusted and terrified by him. He goes to college. Like,
He had nothing to do with it.
They were, you know, they knew this is our son and we love him, but we don't like him. Mm-hmm. And so at one point he gets a job, and he gets some job in some corporation, starts moving up the ladder basically by just fucking over everybody.
Right.
Like, everybody hates him. He very quickly, the CEO of the company, or the owner of the company, he finds out he's got a daughter, and he immediately hooks up with the daughter, and they end up getting married. And his mother actually goes to him and says, the day of the wedding, or a few days before the wedding, she says, she's a wonderful girl. And he's like, yeah, I know. And she says, do you really have to do this to her? Do you have to marry her? And he says, come on, Mom. We both know she'll never see it coming. And she said, like, it was like a moment where they both kind of admitted, I know that you know what I am, and you know that I know. Like, but they never really had that. And she said at that moment, she said, I desperately wanted to go to this girl and say, he is a sociopath, and he's going to ruin your life. She's like, but I couldn't. He's my son, and I love him. And she was just trying to tell him, please spare her, whatever you have planned for her.
Yeah.
Fucking reading that, I read that book, it was horrible, bro. Like,
That sounds crazy.
The mother just described this guy was just a maniac. So, I mean, what I'm saying is,
like that out there, man.
right? But that's what I'm saying is, like,
That's what.
so
You think that's what she is?
I'm saying you know that the mother, like Shrinker's parents, his whole life he's been lying. Like they've all known it his whole life. There have been all of these signs his whole life. Like you've got a couple of brothers, you got 3 boys, 2 of them are normal, and you got this psychopath. Like he's doing shit that these two may, even if they're lunatics, they're not like this. This is just nuts. This mother has got to be like,
She knows.
oh yeah, like she's fucking disturbed.
What about this new kid, Steven Laundrie? Is that his name? Steve Laundrie?
Is that the one with his girlfriend
The
disappeared?
guy who went
Yeah,
hiking and his girlfriend disappeared?
Did they
Or
find the body?
Yeah, they found her.
They don't know if it's her, though. They haven't confirmed it. They said it resembles her, but they haven't done the DNA.
How many fucking dead blondes are out in the desert?
Yeah.
Like where'd they find her?
Well, they found a bunch of dead people over there. They
Well,
found
they found 2 other people that they think he might have killed also.
yeah.
Where?
They found 2
In
other
the same
bodies
area.
They
near,
were-
near an area like a restaurant or a bar they went to.
I mean, how many cross-country tours trips is this guy taking with girlfriends?
Well,
He
the
does
funny
it all
thing
the
is
time.
they have a YouTube channel
where they travel the world.
Hey,
I didn't
pull
know
up-
that.
Pull
Yeah,
up
they
their
travel
YouTube
the-
channel,
travel the
Ryan.
country.
That's nuts.
They have a YouTube channel.
I'm
I mean,
sending
I saw the videos and I saw the video
Yeah,
with the
sending it to
cops
you
where
right now.
he'd been scratched and he's like, yeah,
Yeah.
we got into a fight. But I was like, like
Yeah,
they got
there's
into an
some shit.
argument and a scratch and this, but she
Yeah.
was still alive.
Yeah. Not anymore.
Yeah, did you watch the video of them getting pulled over?
Yes.
Yeah. He seemed
They
pretty
think
normal.
what I heard-
She seemed like the psycho.
That's what when I was watching it, I was like, yeah, she's crazy, bro. Like he's trying to downplay it. Like, yeah, well, she might have. I know. No, we were both upset. But, so it's like I'm like, okay, he's like a good dude.
Well,
I
I
mean,
think-
right up until he.
The theory
choked
is
her out.
what I heard is she's all distraught because he might have just killed those other 2 people.
Were they? I thought they were together. I thought it was just the 2 of them.
Yeah, but there's 2 other dead people.
So what? He said, "Oh, by the way, this is where I dumped the body, and that
I
caused
don't
an
know.
accident."
Maybe she saw.
They had a pretty. Their stories were pretty identical when they got pulled over. Like she was crying. She said, "I've been working on my blog all morning."
Yeah.
Also, and then they pulled him out of the van, and his story was to the T, almost exactly to what hers was.
Yeah.
So they had a pretty well rehearsed story.
Well, or that's just what
Or
happened.
that's what
and then
actually
it
happened.
later sparked into,
Yeah, more
I'm
shit
done with this
happened.
chick. It's time. Oh, we're at mile marker 32,
What happened?
getting close to the grave, to the burial.
Yeah.
I got to choke this chick out. I mean, you think that it's just
He's
one
on the
area.
lam now.
He's from Vero Beach, Florida, is where his parents live.
There's a lot of crazy people.
It's
in
literally
Florida.
directly across the state from here. It's exactly 2.5 hours east of here.
And you saw the
I
search
surf
warrant.
there all the time, exactly where they live.
The
They
search
live on
warrant?
Wabasso.
Did you see
Wabasso
the search
Drive.
warrant where they were search?
No.
Yeah, it was today. They were there for like 2 hours. There was a search warrant where they went into the house. Or I think the parents let them in.
Yeah.
And they were bringing out box after
Yeah.
box, or they were bringing in boxes, loading them up, and taking them out. So, yeah. So I think the parents are like cooperating. Like, look,
But they're not.
Yeah.
we
they're
got
not.
a crazy one. We've known it for a while. Like he was probably smashing fucking frogs too.
Well, I heard his mom told him to, like, the night before he went out, and he like packed all his camping shit up, all his gear, and fucking hit the road.
After he came back without her.
I think like after they found the body, or after he knew they were coming.
Well, he's been gone for a week, and they just found the body yesterday.
Where was the body found? What state?
In Utah, I
Utah.
think. Near Salt Lake City. The last place they were seen was coming out of a hotel near Salt Lake City. This is their YouTube channel.
Where is
Nomadic Static? And look, they posted this video a month ago, and it's got 3.5 million views. It's all from the girl. The
So
girl.
he's banking too.
Oh
So.
yeah,
The
He's
girl
making some money,
who died or is missing. She got like over 600,000 Instagram followers in the past 5 days.
Well, I mean, it's not for interaction or what do they call
not
it?
no good to
and
her
and
now.
they got
Yeah.
60,000 YouTube subscribers in the past week too.
Yeah, it's a crazy story, man.
56,000. So we're looking for our daughter, and he says she's in Utah. And they said,
Wow.
we looked in Utah, and he said, did you dig?
Yeah.
Horrible.
Crazy
Horrible.
fucking story, bro.
I don't get it. Like, I don't
Where is he?
understand. I'm like I'll commit crime. Like, I get monetary gain. I get that. But the desire to murder someone.
It's got to be baked in.
Like,
It's gotta be
I've
baked in.
hated people. Like, I've been furious with someone, but I'm not like plotting their death, or I'm not thinking I'm gonna choke you to death. Like, and there's people that do it once, and then they're like,
That was easy.
This was good stuff. I got to get me another one of these. I mean, it's like, what are you doing, bro? Like, you're going to, how many people have you dated and dropped off in Utah?
You know, there's a psychiatry center in South Florida. I think I want to say Bradenton or Sarasota, and it's an entire sort of like it's like a university for psychiatry that specializes in psychopath and murderers.
We got to interview some of those guys.
Well, I have a guy that actually did a book on that place, a guy who came from there who wrote a book on it, and he's coming on in like the next couple months. And basically they dedicate their lives to studying people who are serial killers and, you know, do commit the most heinous murders.
Crazy.
And yeah, I can't wait to have him on here, and because you know, I think like shit like that's got to be big. You got to come like that out of the box when you're born. You know,
Like,
how can you?
I think those guys. Well, I think sometimes you're probably just born like that. I also there's also the study that says that typically it's like you can create like a psychopath or a sociopath. Like someone can be created with antisocial disorder if there's some kind of a typically some kind of a traumatic event in their childhood will cause that, you know. And others say that they're just born like that. Like there's a case for both, you know. So I think you could probably some are created and some are probably just born like that.
Right.
But yeah, but I'll bet you like that guy. I'll bet you he'll be either amazingly boring and clinical, or he'll be like have some crazy fucking story. Like he's got to have some. Like he's met some nuts.
Yeah.
That guy's met some people there. He's like, oh, that's nothing. Listen to this one guy. You know, tell you.
Well, I don't know if he's met a lot of the people that he's studied. A lot of them are people that have already died, or you know, have, you know, like Jack the Ripper was one of them, and
that's no good.
a bunch of people like that. But I'm sure there are some that he has interviewed.
Yeah, I would want to I got to interview these guys.
Yeah,
we got to have a talk.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a talk. Oh, fuck.
So what did so after you took her head off, I took the skull out. I wore, you know, I put her head on. I put her head on my head and wore it as like a hat for a little bit, and then I took the, you know, it's like
Ted Bundy.
Why?
Have you seen we've talked about the Ted Bundy documentary, right? That was a fucking crazy
that was
one.
nuts. Yeah, he got married in jail, and didn't he get the chick pregnant and married?
Yeah.
And
I think so, yeah.
boy, he was talking
He
at the end,
toured
wasn't
the
he?
country.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Women loved him, too. That was crazy.
Oh, yeah, he had groupies.
Oh, man, it was so crazy.
What are you doing?
Yeah, that was wild.
Oh, Ted.
Well, Matt, I think we've hit a wall, brother.
All right. I'm,
What have we done, 2 hours?
is it 2 hours?
Yeah.
What's coming up next, Matt?
For me? Mm-hmm. I mean, you know what? Speaking of hitting a wall, I hit a wall. Like, so I was getting like 2,000 to 3,000 new subscribers every month on my YouTube channel, right? Mm-hmm. In the last month or so, it's dropped down to like less than 1,000, like 900, 800 or 900. Like, the closer I get to 35,000 subscribers, the slower I'm like, man, it's like I can't break this thing. I mean, at one point I was getting 3,000 a month for several months.
Huh.
And I don't know what happened. And yet I'm putting out more content than ever.
Are you really? How often do you put out videos?
Every day.
Every day?
All last week we put out a video for 6 days straight.
It's every day, bro. And
then this week we're putting out
the new Logan Paul.
On Sunday. We're doing Sunday. Well, no, we did Sunday. We're doing Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then and actually I think Colby's my video editor. He's breaking up this one video I did with this guy for like 2.5, or like it was a little over 2 hours. He's breaking that thing up into 5, and I think he's going to release that every single day.
Oh, so you're doing the Vlad TV thing where you do a long podcast and you only release sections.
Right.
Nice.
I mean, you know, I'm trying to get something to hit. Like look, like I get a ton of people that, like, you know, in the comments, I don't have a comment section like yours. I don't know how you can't. It is a cesspool. You can't look in that. Like, to feel good about yourself, you cannot read the comments.
You read my comments?
Every once in a while, like maybe every once a
you want a good laugh, read them.
Oh, God, they're horrible, bro. Like, I don't understand. You have almost 500,000 subscribers. People hate your guts.
Yeah.
They say I mean,
they really say horrible things? What do they say?
About you?
Yeah,
Give us
I
some
haven't
good
read them in a
ones.
long time.
Oh my God, bro, you.
Give a couple good ones.
Yeah. Oh, what do you mean? They're. I mean, obviously, you know they're not thrilled with you. They dislike you the most, though.
Yeah.
The most. Like
I've seen some pretty good ones though. On the last few podcasts that you did, there were some
Actually,
pretty
there was
positive
some
ones.
good ones.
that huh?
Yeah, I remember I sent you a couple screenshots.
Oh,
The last time I dug into the comments, it was pretty positive, but I haven't been in there since.
a lot of them are
I've
with
been staying away.
the interrupting, these guys.
Yeah,
that are,
but
you know,
what really is that going to really like?
no, I
get
mean,
to
look,
me?
what am I supposed to say? I don't want to say it. I mean, they're all, you know, they're stupid. They're, you know, they can't follow
True.
a conversation.
True.
They're, you know, I mean, it's
True.
on and on. I mean,
It's all true. We are stupid. We can't follow a conversation. We're fucking retards.
they go on and on. I mean, I listen to them and I'm just
Well, then why are they watching?
like,
That's the internet for you, man.
That's
how it is.
Mine is like completely different. Like I probably get
No, they
for-
genuinely love you.
But for every 20, I do get one guy who's like, this rat scumbag piece of garbage. And I'm like, well, did you at least subscribe?
Yeah, right.
Please share the video.
Please click.
Scumbag, low life. I'm like, yes, I understand.
That's the guy who's already
share the
subscribed.
video. Right.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, you know, so yeah, so I but for the most part, mine's positive, and I get a ton of like likes. Like there's always like what I think there's maybe 3 guys that as soon as Cox just posted, dislike, and then that's it. Now, leave a mean comment,
Right.
dislike, there's like 2 or 3 guys like that for every video.
Yeah.
And then there's like 350 or 500 that are like. It's like
As much as the comments can be such a cesspool and so negative, I do love the comments because
they're so
Oh,
some
it's
of them
fun.
some of the insults
Oh, they're good.
are hilarious.
Well,
Like,
once you
these guys
dive-
are sharp.
the
Yeah.
thing about it is once you actually dive into it, it's hard to get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I
You
can
wanna
lose an
keep
hour.
going. Yeah,
I can
oh,
lose
yeah.
an hour.
Oh, easily,
Oh,
bro.
yeah.
And it's like the greatest thing about those comments is it's like a whole separate organism from the video or the content. So you have the video, you dive into the comments, and it's like a whole nother world.
It is.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
such a cool thing.
I love it when they argue with each other.
Oh, yeah.
You'll
Yeah,
get
they
like
start going off.
17, 18, 20,
Yeah.
30 different comments back and forth. The guys just, and it's like,
Yeah, nice.
And it's one of the greatest things about YouTube is that when you see the video, you get this great fucking addition of this comment section. Be like, you see something, be like, oh, I know someone said something funny about this. You immediately scroll down and you want to see.
Yeah.
And it's like a competition. It's like a writing competition to see who can come up with the funniest,
funny.
the funniest or most clever take on what just happened in that video. And then that person gets attention. They get upvotes. You know what I mean? So they get more people go to their channel or whatever. So
What?
it's cool. Yeah. Yeah.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What do you mean up what?
So
So
comments get
somebody leaves
upvotes.
A comment, you can click like or dislike
Yeah,
on
right.
it or
I
whatever.
see that.
So it upvotes it to the top, though. The top comments
Right.
sticks up there.
Oh, okay.
Most
so
popular comment.
within the comment section.
Exactly.
Oh, I thought you meant going to
So
their,
then people will see, oh, this guy fucking left a comment with 100 likes on it. Let's see what he's got going on.
right. He's
Yeah.
funny.
Boom.
Something's good.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I get that.
They're great.
Yeah.
So I fucking love
funny.
the comments. No
Yeah.
matter how much they hate me, I love them. What
now
else,
he's
Matt?
gonna get. He'll have.
He's diving
50,
in tonight.
50 comments now saying, "We love you, Danny. Don't listen to
No.
Cox."
No, they'll be like, yeah, you're right. We hate you.
We hate you, you fucking rat. The rat.
All right.
Funny.
Parlay the plugs, Matt. What do we gotta do? Subscribe to Matt's YouTube channel.
Nobody's at this point. You know, 95% have already. No, I mean, I have a YouTube channel. Like, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I need to get over 35,000. I need to get up to 50,000. I feel like 50,000, and I can actually start making some money. But you know, But yeah, Zach, my buddy Zach, does the podcast with me, and yeah, so we do that, and we interview. You ought to interview Josh. Didn't I send you Josh's? I interviewed Josh.
Who's he?
Josh is a guy that runs a YouTube channel called.
We'll talk about it after the show.
Oh, okay, he will. Anyway, he's got a great crime story. Super cool guy.
Okay.
So-
Perfect. We'll do it.
I
Love
sent
it.
you this stuff. Anything I send you, you don't look at anything I send you.
Yeah, I do, Matt.
You're not the only one. He does it to everybody.
Well, he's a big shot. You're a big shot. You don't. You,
Please. That's
you know,
not
he's
true.
like, he gets it and he's like, oh,
That's not true.
What do
Fuck
these
you.
peasants want?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Please.
Matt, thank you. Thank you for being on the show. I appreciate it. Everyone else
Yeah.
appreciates it.
And I stopped and got you Starbucks.
Thank you
I
for
got
the Starbucks
You
for
got
the
you
one shot.
the.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. I'm not a bad guy.
You're a great guy.
I'm not a great guy, but I'm not bad. Not bad. All right. Are we done?
Goodbye, world.
See ya.
See ya.